Okay, well, hello. Alright, so I'm going to try this again. Didn't. Hello. Yeah, so my internet was just shut down. Usually this happens if, like, I don't know, for, like, it's understandable if for weeks on end I'm live streaming. And, like, either way, I'm paying for 24/7 internet. That's what God says in the contract. They shouldn't be allowed, again, they should not be allowed to advertise themselves as a company. They are a scam. Gotta keep repeating that, that fucking nicotine, companies, they were forced to disclose that their product kills people when it's well known. Yeah, I don't think Cox should have the right to They just had some ads on Paramount Plus. I cannot stand seeing that. Where they fucking say the fastest internet. It's like, bitch, you should not have the right to say that on the internet in an advertisement. That is like one of the only restrictions on free speech. You should not have the right to advertise yourself as something that is objectively false. Like, demand money for, like, get people to sign into a deal, just make a contract with people, just promising a certain service in return for money, and then not delivering on said service, but keeping people's money. When this is the company that you run, you should not be allowed to publicly advertise that company as a company, and you should not be allowed to make these false claims about your company, about what you are selling. When it's literally a scam, you should not be allowed to advertise your product as an actual product. You should be forced to disclose, yeah, this isn't, Cox isn't a real company, this scam. They do not deliver on the products they promise, they just steal your money and don't deliver. Yeah, I think Cox should be forced to disclose all that in any advertisements if, like, if, what's it called? If nicotine companies who do not lie to anyone, they sell exactly what they claim to sell. If they're gonna be forced to write tobacco kills on their own product, which that's insane. They should. I would never comply with that. If I owned a nicotine company, I maybe I'd start using my Second Amendment rights at that point. Because yeah, that's literally just trying to because you disagree with how a certain company operates or what they're selling, you're basically forcing them to just to just like what's it called? Yeah, to just ridicule their own product and how they market it. It's like, that's insane. Like, you're pretty much forcing people to just advertise against their own product. Make the advertisement against their own product be the biggest thing you see on their product. Like, it's a joke. That's just insane. That's extremely anti-free speech, making them, like, forcing them to write that on their product. That isn't how they feel about their product, and everybody knows that smoking kills. Like, forcing them to write stuff like that on their product, um, like, yeah, that's absolutely insane. They shouldn't have to do that, but yeah, if nicotine companies have to do that, it's absolutely insane that yeah, Cox gets to advertise itself as a company when all they do is just scam people. But yeah, I closed out a Discord, closed out a Twitter. I'm really hoping that at least I get to fucking make a live stream. It's just so insane. Like, Cox doesn't even have internet that is, like, they don't even have the basic fucking standards to be able to. Yeah, they can't even. Their internet is not even at a high enough speed to meet the standards of regular people. Say somebody who's just streaming online. Uh, Everybody does that. The internet has been around for decades. They still do not have the basic strength with their internet to be able to meet the average person's needs. So they should not be allowed to advertise themselves as having fast internet smoking kills is a pretty vague thing too. Yeah, cons should not have the right to advertise themselves as that, and every time that my fucking live stream gets fucked over because they are scammers who just advertise a product that they do not actually deliver on. Yeah, I'm gonna keep bringing this up. It's annoying. I'm not. I don't think anyone cares, but yeah, I'm going to bring it up because that's the reason why I just had to start another fucking live stream. So I think it's fair to bring that up.
So Cenk and Anna of the
yeah, let me give a new introduction to that since the last stream. I mean, I'll just link the last stream in the description of this stream. Okay, let's just, okay, so, last stream. Dang. This is just so fucking cancerous. Dang. Yeah, Cox should absolutely not have the right to advertise themselves as a company. That's just insane. Okay. The fuck? So, dude, I sort of guessed it last stream. Yeah, basically, I knew this was going to be a circle jerk. Like, that's why I thought, yeah, let's react to this. And, like, within the first 20 seconds, it's like, yeah, I was proven right. They're just gonna circle jerk about how awful Republicans are. That's literally going to be the focus of their thing. And they're both going to agree on that. So they're legit going to be trying to do this, oh, I think we should handle these bad Republicans in this way. And it's like, dude, that's sort of your circle jerking. Like, y'all both sort of have the same opinion. Right is bad, right is bad. It's sort of like, yeah, I don't know, just to put that into perspective again, some, just two super Christian nationalist people who just, say, oh, well, we should give these, I don't know. We should give these sinners, these dirty gays and all who like got abandoned. We should give them a chance and like try to convince them that like God is real. Cause like I don't know, they're gonna go to hell and like oh yeah sure I agree with you they deserve it, but like that's sort of what God wants us to do. Versus oh no just abandon these. It's like. Do you think that's a productive conversation? I don't know why secular talk would even bother respond to that. It's just them circle jerking. Like, the right is bad. Yeah, I agree, but I think the right is bad. I think that's how we should. So it's like, motherfucker, it's exactly what you'd expect from people like Anna and Cenk. I mean, they're absolute fucking jokes, but, yeah, I think I went even more into detail on my last stream, which, dude, now I can expect this to shut down at any point in time, which, yeah,
So Cenk and Anna of the Young Turks
either way,
had a
let's
very
respond to that.
heated debate the other day. The title here is Cenk and Anna debate how to talk to right wingers. So look, I want to go through all 23 minutes of this, but you know we don't have the time, and there's so many other stories to get to. So I picked like the juiciest part, and we're gonna react to the juiciest part here. But I will tell you this: so the genesis of this debate was
yo, we're gonna react to that
Cenk
next.
saying the line,
that's fucking amazing.
Republicans love criminals. Now, it was in the context of talking about...
Yeah, of course. And it's like, dude, Anna is gonna pretend to be like, oh, well, we should pander more to right-wingers. We should accept the fact that, like, there are people, too, who can be convinced. And, well, she's just sort of a fraud in that, because she'll say that, like, of Ben Shapiro, like, she'll just completely cock up to him. And then, she'll just be saying on her show, yeah, actually, everything that I said, like, in that Politicon debate, a year later when I came back onto his show, yeah, I'm now going to say the exact opposite of that. And that's what she does on her show. She talks about how Ben Shapiro is an awful person who, like, wants to like, yeah, you want to know why he's in favor of the Second Amendment? Because he supports school shootings. Well, yeah, again, here's the thought. Maybe, that's a, yeah, debate on how to handle right-wingers. Maybe that's not a good idea. Oh, you're in favor of the Second Amendment? Oh, why do you support school shootings? You know these people who got shot? Why are you in favor of them getting fucking shot, you prick? Yeah, maybe that's not a good idea. And again, Anna said that. Cenk probably fucking said the same thing, but Anna said that about Ben Shapiro, who she cocks up to whenever she's in front of him. It's like, no, Anna's just completely fake, and Cenk Uygur just, I think maybe, like, well, he's pretty stupid, that's for one, and he just has such an audience that maybe his ego sort of caught up to him. Or, like, he realized just saying these dumb, just shithole talking point things, just repeating these same lines, like, oh, well, conservatives, they're for crime, they're for rape, too, you wanna know about that? Ah, well, conservatives, you know what? They like school shootings. Oh, hell yeah. It's like, motherfucker, Cenk is not someone who should be taken seriously, and that's probably why he has 5+ million subs. Because on YouTube, people who have the most subs usually aren't the ones you should take seriously. That's why, I don't know, that's it. Yeah, so, Secular Talk, somebody who you should take seriously, he's actually reached 1 million. That's great, but, yeah, it's legit surprising to me to some extent that this guy would actually waste his time on, like, these two fucking morons. Like, it's pretty sad.
Republicans love criminals. Now, it was in the context
So
of talking about Trump and like how Trump's numbers have gone up.
Yeah, that's so retarded because the entire right who's defending Trump, which by the way, that's not all of them. Ben Shapiro, for example, isn't. But all of the right who are defending Trump, their line goes, Trump should not be indicted because he didn't commit any crimes. So they don't think that he's a criminal. The left, on the other hand, and Tucker talks about this all the time, they recognize, yeah, these people are criminals and we should reduce their sentence. And Tucker talks about this all the time as a result of these Democrat policies, like Democrats just being way too lenient on crimes, like actual crime, like what's it called, like actually felony type crimes. I don't know, a rape, murder, all of that shit. It's like, yeah, Tucker has stories all the time about yeah, like this person, he sexually assaulted like 6 different people. Or like I don't know, he just was drunk driving in a car and just all of that type of stuff. Oh yeah, they just did that multiple times. Every time they just got away with it. Or they just got a month in jail. And guess what? Motherfucker just came out after like his 6th time like raping someone and getting out. And guess what? Now he murdered someone. Now he murdered a few people. But what do you know? The Democrats are the ones pushing for violent criminals to get pardons, for the law to be less enforced, to be for the laws to be more lenient on criminals. Things like theft, rape, all of that murder. Democrats are the ones pushing for these laws to be more lenient towards these types of people. Not having the death penalty for murderers. That also comes hand in hand. But from Tucker's perspective, Tucker's against the death penalty. It's more like, yeah, these people who are clearly a danger to society, the Democratic Party is trying to make these punishments, they can reduce them. So the left is for crime. The right just doesn't recognize that Donald Trump committed a crime, and they think, yeah, there's a witch hunt. And to be honest, yeah, when you have someone doing something that is legal, paying hush money to someone, and like, yeah, that could hurt their political career, and he used campaign donations for it. But again, maybe you should have used his own money because he has a lot of it. But this is something that was going to help him politically because someone was trying to air a story that would hurt him and that would hurt his political career. Yeah, that is a political matter. That's not really just personal use. that is a political matter. Like, if he hadn't paid that hush money, that could have hurt his political campaign. So he was using that to help his political campaign. This was campaign money that was correctly attributed. From what I've heard, like everything that I've seen, it sort of seemed to indicate that yeah, when he took money from Saudi Arabia to later just allow them to commit a genocide in Yemen using our fucking weapons that we're giving to them and stuff like that. Like, there's just so much of that. So yeah, maybe he should be indicted for that. But hush money to a fucking hooker? Fucking that is what he. Yeah, no shit. When this guy has a base that is made up of half of the country that are diehard fans of him, no shit, they don't think he committed a crime. If he tells them, I didn't commit a crime, motherfucker, I didn't do it, dude, it's not a crime. It's like, yeah, they believe this isn't a crime. So Cenk saying that he's a moron, he's absolutely fucking retarded. He can come in. Dude, I'm guessing this probably isn't me. But, let's go. Yeah, let's just keep watching this.
Up since, you know, it was announced that he's probably going to be indicted and arrested and prosecuted. And, so he uses
they think it's fake.
To then argue
they think it's
Republicans love criminals.
Fake reason.
And Anna took issue with that because from her perspective, she's saying, look, that's a gross generalization. It's hyperbolic on purpose.
Please don't take Cenk's side on this.
What you're doing is going after rank and file.
It's like, Anna will say that to pander to, like, she'll take a fake populist approach, but she contradicts that. She says the exact opposite of that. Like, she just says it to try to pander to people, like Ben Shapiro, but she doesn't like Ben Shapiro. She isn't even, like, trying to pretend that she likes Ben Shapiro. She only tries to do that when she's on his show, to maybe bring some of his audience over to, well, now she's criticizing Tucker Carlson for having a different, private opinion of Trump than he has a public one. Well, she's such a moron that you don't even need to invade her privacy and go into her private stuff to see that what she believes about Ben Shapiro, what she says she believes about him, like at Politicon, whenever she goes on his show, all of that is a lie. You could just go on her fucking podcast. Like, she's too lazy to even try having a consistent opinion when she goes on somebody else's show and when she's on her show, so she's too stupid for you to even have to dig that far into what you shouldn't get to dig into. So, yeah, Anna Kasparian, like, on her, she might have the right position, but keep in mind that she's sort of a phony, so.
Republican voters whose minds can be changed, and you're just alienating them and pushing them further away from the left when you make arguments like that. And her point was, hey, man, go after Republican elites like the politicians, and, you know.
But the statement Republicans love criminals, it's like, that is very directed at, like, you're not saying Trump loves criminals. You're not saying Republican elites loves, no, and who is that massive Trump base who, like, those are mostly, like, I don't know, middle-class people, because, like, the majority of the population is middle-class, so, again, like, saying Republicans love criminals, that is pretty directed at, just Republicans in general, not the elites, like, that's a very specific statement targeted not at the elites, dude.
No, don't think so. Constructive when criticizing the actual voters, the base. Okay, so that's the background story.
Okay,
yeah. Now that had happened on a previous show, and then they decided let's do another segment where we sort of debate this topic on the next show. And so that's where we are here. We're about 13 minutes and 30 seconds into the debate, and we'll watch the rest and react to it.
Democratic establishment.
I love how even he like, I don't know, he said he wanted to react to the full thing. I mean, I'm going to guess he believes that it was substantive, I'm just going to guess that it wasn't substantive. Are we even gonna react? You know what? We might finish reacting to this, and then react to that, and then if my live stream hasn't fucking just, like, booted off, if my live stream is still up by then, yeah, I might just look at that to meme them.
Endorsing this guy, one could argue, right? I would say it's inaccurate. One could argue the left loves crime, but the left doesn't love crime.
No, but all right.
Wait, who the fuck endorsing what guy? What, Joe Biden, because of the like thing with Tara Reid or whatever? Like, if she was talking about that, maybe she'd have. And again, like sexual allegation, like what's it called? Allegations of rape. If you're president, that is going to happen to you. Period.
So sorry, just to brush.
So that's just not even a good point to bring up against Joe Biden.
You up on the point she's making here. She's saying, "Hey, Cenk, that generalization you made about Republican voters, you can make the same generalization about Democratic voters. Because here's some, you know."
Dude, I just realized that. I mean, already sort of high, and now I'm about to get higher. But yeah, I'm just smoking weed out of that, by the way. But dude, I'm very surprised that somebody like Anna Kasparian could even have made that great of a point. Yeah, that is true. You could say that of the left too. Except it also would be false for the same reason that your shit is false, because it's fucking stupid. No, nobody is claiming, like, find me one person who claims, this person, they are criminal, but I support them because they commit crime. Okay, well, then you just found someone who loves crime, who was in favor of crime. But until, like, if you're telling me, like, you're making that generalization of any base, and that base is big enough for you to be able to point to, and if it's not even big enough for you to even be able to name drop a single person who belongs to that base, maybe you shouldn't be talking about that base unless it's to talk about how irrelevant or insignificant they are. But, like, yeah, if you can't even name drop a single Republican who will tell you, well, what it means to be for crime, what it means to, like, if you're going to claim that Republicans are that way, you're going to have to name drop at least one person who fits that description, and fitting that description would mean them saying, hey, I'm a Republican and I support this guy because he's a criminal. I like the fact that he commits crime and I'm in favor of him committing crime. What he did is a crime, I recognize that it's a crime, and I'm for it because it's a crime. That is the actual position that you're taking. You're saying that this is what Republicans will tell you if you ask them what they think about crime. So, you going on this tangent, like, that is such a huge stretch. It's just false. No, like, on its face, these people support crime. Okay, you're gonna have to show me people who will say, I am in favor of crime. Like, them not thinking that somebody who committed a crime actually committed a crime, them believing, no, they didn't commit a crime. Like, you say, oh, well, they're in favor of crime. No. They just don't think that person committed a fucking crime. Like, you're just so stupid. It's like you're just taking the fact that their premise is false and just pretending that their conclusion wasn't based on their false premise, making their conclusion probably false for that reason. You just, oh well, their conclusion is wrong, and their premise, like, that's not actually their premise. Like, they have a true premise. They have the premise that, oh yeah, crime, yeah, this person did commit a crime. It's like, no, like, you go with either one or the other. Either, well, they are against crimes, and, well, therefore they should be for, Trump being indicted. Or, oh, well, they aren't against crime, in which case, well, dude, I'm sort of getting high, but, like, you get the fucking point, dude. I think I, like, made this pretty clear. Yeah, people saying all Republicans in general support crime. Like, of course Anna would take issue, but it's like literally the easiest thing to debunk. Like, the dumbest thing of all things that someone could say. It's like, yeah, why wouldn't you want to challenge someone to a debate over that? Hey, do you think that, I don't know, snorting glue sticks, or what, do you think that, just, I don't know, cutting your dick off, do you think that's healthy? Just cut it, like, not, I'm not talking about that whole trans thing, like, no, just, you take a motherfucking, you take a pencil, okay, yeah, no, actually, motherfucker, you take a ruler, and you cut your dick off with that, is that healthy? It's like, that's pretty much what Anna is debating Cenk on, and Secular Talk is covering this, fucking why? Like, dude, come on.
Was dismissive of the fact that some local reporter was robbed and was very smug about it. And Anna's like, so if we want to generalize about Democrats now, Democratic voters, you could say, the left loves crime. Is that fair? So that's the point.
Wait, because someone was robbed and was smug. What? Wait.
Love crime.
No, but about it. And Anna's like, so if we want to generalize about Democrats now, Democratic voters, you could say, the left loves crime. Is that fair? So that's the point she's making.
That is a mischaracterization.
Was robbed and was very dismissive of the fact that some local reporter was robbed and was very smug about it. And
inaccurate, one could argue.
Hey, Cenk, that generalization you made about Republican voters, you can make the same generalization about Democratic voters, because here's some DA who was dismissive of the fact that some local reporter was robbed and was very smug about it. And Anna's like, so if we want to generalize about...
I don't even know what a DA is, but, I mean, you don't even have to go into all that, because the left's official position is that they want to be more lenient towards, especially things like theft, burglary. They do not want people to be allowed to defend themselves in the case of a burglary, for example. But not only that, they want to reduce the amount of time you'd spend in prison. They'd want to just overall make the sentence, make the punishment for crimes, especially crimes like that, a lot less strict. So you don't even have to say, oh well, this person, just go straight to the policies. That's an anecdote. Well, the left's policies, it doesn't matter if they're acting dismissive of it. They are literally actively trying to reduce the amounts to which you are punished for. They're basically trying to normalize doing that. So you don't even have to go into, oh well, the left, like, you could find somebody who was, like, just sort of being dismissive of theft. The left is trying to pretty much, like, make theft less, like, less of a crime, pretty much. Like, they aren't trying to legalize it, obviously, but they're trying to make it less, like, less punished, less harshly punished. Dude, I'm so high and I just start fucking repeating myself and just not knowing what the fuck I'm saying. It's gay, dude. Sorry, dude. Do I have a single viewer? Maybe it's best that I don't, but you know what? I have one. It's probably me. Here. But anyway,
Democrats now, Democratic voters, you could say, the left loves crime. Is that fair? So that's the point she's making.
That is a mischaracterization.
But those leftists there, I think, are extreme. And yeah, they think...
Dude, okay, well, you could say, oh, well, those right-wingers. Do you think the right-wingers who are pro-Trump not being indicted, no matter what, because he said it wasn't, like, I'm guessing Cenk's position is anybody who's pro-Trump, anybody who doesn't want Trump to be assassinated, pretty much, at the extreme. That's pretty much Cenk's position, because he's a moron. So, yeah, no shit. Cenk considers these right-wingers to be... I mean, he's debating Anna Kasparian. It's like, what do you want? This is...
Crime is not that big a deal. They say it all the time.
Representative of all
Crime is not that big of a deal. Oh, that's gonna... I mean, I love how her thing is sort of to try not doing that type of stuff, like spewing shit that's just gonna, like, trigger conservatives. And Cenk's sort of... Thing is, Tucker Carlson likes triggering the lids. Like, he embraces that. But Cenk, he's not even, like, embracing his title of, I'm sort of a troll, just trying to trigger the conservatives. Like, he acts like he's a complete serious person. And at least Tucker Carlson, he will be serious and make genuine points and not act like a troll. And then he'll, like, whenever he wants to humor stuff, like, he'll be very open about it. Yeah, like, you could tell that he's trolling. Like, in his video about Kamala Harris, it's very clear way he's trolling, and he has a healthy sense of humor. Cenk Uygur is just always trolling, but it's like, does he even realize it? It's like, this fucking dude, it's like, yeah, I mean, these left-wingers, that take is not valid because those left-wingers are extreme. Well, firstly, extreme, is subjective. Everybody has different ideas of what extreme means. And it's not even like that's even an argument against someone's take, because what do you consider literally any movement, any opinion that has formed a movement around, like, change that matters to us today? I don't know, like, what are the newest amendments that matter the most to us? You know, what do we have from, like, since the United States was founded, which was the first great step in the right direction, I guess, to a lot of people. Just don't really care, but, like, yeah, desegregation, how about allowing women to vote? Well, all of these things were considered extreme back in the day. I don't know, back when slavery was still on the table, do you think this desegregation was considered extreme? Probably so. So, an idea being extreme doesn't make it wrong, it doesn't delegitimize, fucking whatever I'm saying, you know, like, it doesn't make it less valuable. In fact, pretty much every position that has made the future better has been considered an extreme position, at least at some point. Because today's status quo is never tomorrow's future. Never. Like, the progress always starts from extreme positions that become less extreme to the public view. So, you claiming that a position is extreme, that doesn't say anything about that position. And on top of that, yeah, Cenk would consider those right-wing people who he's comparing that to. He would also say those people are extreme. So, like, the fuck?
Of course not, but that's my point.
So I just, look, all I'm asking for is specificity, right? And I'm also asking for...
Dude, like, she's being very unspecific in that, because I don't know, she's sort of not responding to shit, which, like, I mean, where do you even start, to be honest? But I'm just asking for, like, she's just trying to be diplomatic. I wouldn't be surprised if this bitch tried to run for president one day. It's like, she'd legit run on, I'm a victim. Like, she'd be even better than Trump at that. Because Trump didn't run on that. He just, like, made that a big headline for his Twitter posts, I guess. It's like, yeah, I'm just asking for specificity, and it's like, who could really disagree with that on its face? Like, in isolation, yeah, I think specificity is pretty good, bro.
For, you know, just stay away from hyperbole and needlessly making blanket statements about whole swaths of the population.
I mean, as if your show was serious. Like, give me a fucking break, dude. Stay away from... At least go more on that tangent, since your show clearly isn't serious. Keep making statements, like, it's just funny. Yeah, Republicans, you know what, they like rape and school shootings. Guess who said that Republicans were in favor of school shootings? Guess who said that Ben Shapiro is in favor of school shootings? right after going on to his like going at Politicon, meeting him and telling him, "Oh, you're a very genuine person, very respectable, very smart. In fact, that's why I'm here." When like before then, she had said Ben Shapiro is a talentless hack. That were her words, and it seems that after that debate, her discourse didn't really change. And again, like she went back onto a show a year later, like about a month or two ago now, to repeat the same lies that she had told Ben Shapiro at Politicon, just cocking up to him. So, yeah, Anna Kasparian does not believe that shit. I made a whole compilation of that. We're not gonna rewatch that again and again, but, I mean, yeah, she says, "Oh, well, we should see one another as fellow Americans. We shouldn't see one another as this super combative identity that, like, this identity that just needs to be super combative with this different identity." Well, in the video where she said Ben Shapiro is a talentless hack, she, like, oh, and by the way, very great point that she's accused, like, she loves accusing people of just being all in for the money while she's the hero who's just not that way. Well, firstly, you didn't have to lie to Ben Shapiro about all that. You did it for, well, just the clout. You didn't need to cock up to him. That's not what the debate was about. It wasn't about how you felt about one another. But, yeah, Anna Kasparian legit accused Ben Shapiro of like saying all it, being in favor of school shootings because, well, he gets paid for it. By the way, Anna admitted, I found like that one video just happened to pop up. Anna Kasparian, how I started TYT. She legit admitted, yeah, I was doing it for money. So she was caught admitting that, well, money is good. Yeah, what a huge fucking admission. You wouldn't imagine that it'd be a huge admission for anyone, but for somebody who claims that, oh, well, Ben Shapiro, like anybody, oh, well, they're just doing it all for money. Anything they do that I disagree with, I'm just gonna add on just for poisoning the well even more, as if it's possible on TYT to do that more. Yeah, they just want money. That's why Tucker Carlson, someone who was born wealthy, with all the wealth you could ever want for yourself, that's why he, like, devotes so much of his time to a job he never needed to have. It's like, yeah, Anna Kasparian keeps saying that type of shit. Like, oh, Ben Shapiro, he does that for the money. Well, that's not really what you tell him when you're on his show. In fact, you say the opposite. But Anna legit said in that video where she was like, oh, well, Ben Shapiro's a talentless hack. She said, oh, yeah, well, like, obviously, it's like, no wonder they found him. It's like, the right wing's just this well-boiled machine that's just super well manufactured for propaganda, just this propaganda machine, and they just all work together. It's like, again, I have that compilation called Anna Kasparian is a Moron. It's up on my channel, like, you can see it anytime, so... Yeah, Anna Kasparian's sort of a fraud,
No, but again,
sort of a retard.
Getting to the harder problem. So look, the Republicans, generally speaking, and not just generally speaking, I can give you specific examples, are the aggressors, right? So we didn't just pass.
Dude, I could give you specific examples on the left, and what, dude, this sort of sounds like you saying all police officers are just racist. Because Derek Chauvin fucking exists, which he shouldn't still exist. He should have received the death penalty, but whatever. Yeah, all police officers are racist. I could give you a specific example of a police officer who's racist and lives in the United States. Like, probably fucking 100,000 miles away from it. Fucking hundreds kilometers. Yeah, probably like I don't know, at least 300 to 1,000 miles away from me, but yeah, like, they exist in the United States. That does exist, that's true.
In the country, they just pass hundreds
of laws. The politicians, and we should fight them, Cenk.
Do you think the Republican voters are against those laws? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Cenk is actually, again, what a moron. Secular Talk and the Rational National actually covered that. So, I can't believe I have to, like, defend Anna Kasparian on this, but Cenk is just so, I mean, no shit, when she's debating Cenk Uygur, who's just, like, the biggest moron, what do you think? I'm gonna have to defend fucking one of them. And it's like, yanks, okay, well, what's his name? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was a video on Florida. But I haven't, really looked at this guy for a while. Okay. Let's see. Dude, I need to watch this guy more. Yeah, I'm sure, like, she knows the type of stuff that he talks about in this.
New data out of Florida shows that people there really have no idea what the hell is going on. So, I'm going to break down these numbers, these incredible...
And by the way, this is sorta, a video to bring up, like, people in Florida who support Ron DeSantis, so simultaneously they will support Ron DeSantis, but, like, overwhelmingly be against Ron DeSantis' policies and be in support of policies that he'd be against, or like that type of stuff. So, yeah, Republicans a lot of the time, their actual policy, support, like the policies they support and the people who they support, like for running for office, like they just don't actually know what types of policies the people they support are running on and want to promote. And, well, guess what? People like Joe Biden do that more than anyone, where they're like, oh, well, I just don't, I want everybody to get to college. I don't discriminate against immigrants. Look at these dirty, like, right-wingers who just hate immigrants so much. It's like, motherfucker, you are more conservative on the border than Trump was. You have deported a lot more. You're way more conservative. Do you think the left wants that? Do you think the left knows that Joe Biden is so fucking conservative on the border? Probably not. A lot of them. Does Cenk Uygur know? I mean, yeah, I mean, he probably knows. I mean, the guy's retarded, but he probably at least knows that. Like, come on. It's like, yeah, the right also does that. They don't tend to lean on, like, the policies that aren't very clickbaity, that people... It's like, yeah, nobody really cares to watch videos about economics. But, like, the right wing, apparently, on economic issues, people, like, they're just really unpopular, like, with American voters, because people are selfish and they don't recognize property rights for the rich, and they just think, oh yeah, of course exploit the rich to benefit the working class. That's, of course, what America's about. That's what we want. Which, completely disagree. But a lot of the right seems to think that, rich people, yeah, they're just are fucking slaves, basically. They should act as our servants. So, yeah, there is a lot of the right that... A lot of probably pro-Trump that lean in that direction. Yeah, most of the right does not agree with the individual policies. When you put them, like, a lot of the policies that that their preferable candidate runs on, they're not in support of that.
Numbers showing a
That's
serious
the bottom
disconnect
line
between the politicians they support and the policies that they support. Now, this is often the case, especially in red states, but in Florida in particular, it is almost stunning how different these two things are. So let me first get to where all...
And by the way, I would argue that's probably just in general when it comes to people who are very pro-Trump. Because DeSantis is legit just, well, he's sort of trying to embody Trump's, like, career, what he would do, like, the types of stuff that he'd lean on. He's trying to just piss off the left, go with trigger the libs, just get that takeaway from Trump. Yeah, let's just trigger the libs. I could be good at that, because those are policies I can make to trigger the libs, so... It's sort of what Ron DeSantis runs on. So, it's pretty clear that, yeah, in Florida, that's yeah, Trump's base the policies that Trump supports and like the policies they would support, there's gonna be a disconnect. I mean, Trump is a populist, but then what he does not necessarily help people because he does a lot of damage. But at least he's funny, and well, I don't know about much of the damage. Apparently, it's mostly with foreign relationships that he fucks up a lot. I don't really know much that he does. Like, I don't know anything about Trump's presidency, to be honest. Like, I know he banned trans people from the military, which sort of I mean, like, fucking who cares to be, like, I'm sort of gonna be that asshole. It's like, I would not want to ever go, fucking die for my country XD. No, not for, no, just not gonna do that. And it's like, yeah, I guess if you've transitioned your testosterone, but just straight up banning trans people altogether from the military, that's fucking insane. Like, maybe saying, yeah, if you're transitioning to, like, I don't know, but it's like, to be fair, wait, women are allowed to serve in the military. I've heard that, apparently that's, I thought they were, yeah, I think they're separated, like, dude, I don't know anything about how the military works. I don't fucking know jack fucking shit about how the military works. I'm pretty sure women are allowed to serve in the military, which, they just probably do different things. I have no idea how that works. So, like, if you're gonna allow women to be in the military, yeah, of course you should allow trans people. I don't see what the problem with that would be, but yeah, I guess, like, if they've just started transitioning and they still look like, I don't know, this looks like a woman, and they are just in the guy's military, like, the fuck? Yeah, I could see why that could be sort of a problem in the military, where you have to be just super, like, serious and shit, but, I mean, come on, like, who even cares? Like, if that shows anything, that shows that Trump's policies are definitely not substantive. Like, any issue that could potentially fix banning trans people from the military, it's just, like, out of anything you could do as a president to change a country for the better, like, if you take away any, like, all of the downsides now, which, like, that's just wrong to do. These people should get to serve, and it's like, we have such a huge military already. Like, do we even need to make it better? As if that would make it better. Like, do we need that? So, yeah, Trump sort of goes and makes a big deal out of whatever policy he, like, can emphasize on to gain popularity. And it's like, on their face, if you take away, like, Trump trying to flatter his own policies, yeah, people would probably look at that and be like, dude, who fucking cares? How about this stuff that's more important? So,
all this data is coming from. This is the University of North Florida. They're public.
And yeah, Trump supports his donors before his people. That's another thing to take into account. So Cenk making that point, what a moron.
Research lab. This was released on Thursday.
It's like he's trying to give his coworker
all of this
free
data,
dub.
this whole PDF below the video under sources on YouTube. I link to all my sources always on YouTube.
That's
so
good.
If you want to go through it, you can. But let's start. So because it's all in small little numbers here, I put it out in a notepad. So let's start with the first question that I want to address. They ask, what do you think is the most important problem facing Florida today? First place, housing costs, which makes total sense. That is often the first issue.
Do you think Ron DeSantis is like number one issue? Where do you think that it'd go on his list of issues? Do you think that's more of a left-wing thing to care about or a right-wing thing to care about? Oh, well, houses cost too much. It's like, what are you going to do about that exactly, other than become authoritarian and force people to lower the prices of their housing? Like, maybe there could be some negotiations, but I don't know. Again, I don't know much about that field. I tend to look more at the clickbaity shit because I'm like a retard, but like, uh, I'm sure I'm probably missing a lot of context here, but the most straightforward and, well, the one that had matched the left the most way of dealing with, oh, the cost of something is too high. Well, Bernie Sanders with like the pharmaceutical thing, and I completely get it from a moral perspective, being like, well, these people shouldn't be allowed to charge that much for stuff that'll help people's lives. But again, the libertarian approach is, well, you don't owe the world to do good deeds to them. And that's sort of like with the Moderna vaccine, I don't know the context on a lot of these because I don't watch Bernie at all, ever. But yeah, he definitely did have a point with the Moderna vaccine. Apparently, the research that allowed Moderna to be what it is was funded by, well, the taxpayers, and they used that, and now they're making the costs of the Moderna vaccine, like, what, 80 times higher than they used to be, which, yeah, if the taxpayer money built your own, no, you absolutely, that is theirs, you don't have the right to do that. I would agree with Bernie on that, but, I'm getting really sidetracked, like,
For a lot of people, regardless of state, Florida in
yeah,
particular,
that's
right
sort
now,
of the point. Like this, do you think that's a left-wing type issue or right-wing type issue? Do you think that people in Florida are rather left-wing or
now
right-wing?
is dealing with a serious cost of housing crisis. So taking a look here, since DeSantis took office in 2019, rents in the Sunshine State have shot up 40% compared to 25% nationally. So cost of housing is an issue generally, but particularly in Florida.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I haven't lived in any other states, but I've heard, I'm pretty sure I probably commented on this too, right? Yeah, California. Let's just go back to that.
Right now is dealing with a serious cost of housing crisis.
Yeah, so I've heard apparently California is like where the houses cost the most, and apparently that's the just most left-wing state there is, like even more than New York, which, I mean, yeah, it's, I don't know, that's, but
So taking a look here,
I mean, this is still makes the point. This is a left-wing type issue. Like the left cares about that type of stuff. The right doesn't focus on that.
since
This is number one, like Florida's number one concern, like their
DeSantis
citizens.
took office
By the way,
in 2019.
make sure my live stream's still ongoing.
Rents in the Sunshine State have shot up 40% compared to 25% nationally. So cost of housing is an issue generally, but particularly in Florida. Now, what has DeSantis done? Nothing. And this may give you an indication as
It's like, what exactly? I mean, of course, he's a right winger, but what do you want him to do about it other than, I don't know, tell these people, become authoritarian and tell them you have to reduce the price of your own stuff, which, telling people what price they can put on their own stuff is pretty much you telling them, well, no, this isn't your property, this is my property. If you get to put the price on it, it is yours. So, yeah, if you get to reduce someone's price because, well, that's not, I don't think that's an appropriate price. Like, do you fucking own this now? Who the fuck are you to be telling me what price to put my shit at? It's like, yeah, at this point, you just are not allowing people their property rights. If it's their property, they should get to put it at whatever price they want. And I guess maybe, like, taking more care of inflation could reduce that. That's really the only way I'd see him being able to, like, make that better without committing, well, that wouldn't be theft, but again, yeah, you're just removing someone's property rights, so you're not stealing stuff from them. Yeah, you're sort of stealing money from them, stealing the extra price that they were trying to put on that house.
Why?
That was theirs to be earned if they wanted to. You could think that's morally wrong. You could think whatever you want about it, but people should be allowed to do things that are morally wrong. Most people seem to believe that lying is morally wrong. Should people not be allowed to lie in the United States? Like, no. So obviously the law shouldn't be based on what we think is morally wrong. No, obviously not. You should just not be allowed to go out of your way to harm someone, to like inflict on their freedoms and liberties, because your liberties end where the liberties of others start. Like, you can't enslave someone. You don't have the liberty to do that, because then you're impeding on their rights and their liberties. So as long as you're not forcefully going out of your way to harm someone where like they can't do anything about it. So talking like global warming, you can't sign a contract to just not be affected in the future by global warming and not have your kids be affected by it. So yeah, asking these industries to reduce their emissions, that is fair, because you can't sign a contract for that not to affect you. And you can't be like, oh, well, I'm not working with you. I'm just not gonna buy food from you. I'm just gonna, I'm just not going to sign any contract with you. And, well, I'm just not gonna be affected by global warming. Like, that doesn't work. So, that's some, but, with stuff like, well, housing costs. Well, you could just buy a house from someone else, and if everybody's an asshole, well, tough fucking shit. Like, that isn't, like, Liberty's fault. That is, well, everybody's being an asshole. Well, how about you go through the meritocracy system that we now have? You actually work in high school, and then you go to college, which will be paid for you by TOPS, which is something everybody is eligible for if they live in the United States and are citizens or have a green card. Just work your best in high school, go ahead and keep doing that in college, and then get that position of power where you will change that. And if you haven't, if you're just like some other person who just hasn't fucking tried their best, but like is really just someone like me who just well, didn't do the absolute best in high school, didn't care enough, but oh well, I deserved better, I think. So you know what, these rich people, they could give me better. Well, how about you at least house one homeless person then, since obviously these entitled rich people aren't going to do it. How about you realize that you're middle class, not third class, middle. You're in the middle. There are bigger victims who should probably be like bitching more than you are, but they aren't so entitled like the middle class is to have everybody pander to them. So yeah, how about you house a homeless person, actually put your money where your mouth is, or shut the fuck up. Go ahead and house a homeless person. At least like that's some reasonable. Your standards of living are not going to plummet from there. You could meet a new person, and they are not going to have to be out on the street. So I think that's a pretty fair share if you consider like stealing 30% of someone's income a fair share. Just house you, like most, at least upper middle class people have at least one extra storage room, probably a room they use for storage, which they could use to house someone, but instead they choose to have more kids. And especially poor people. Yeah, you think those people, the poorest people who keep choosing to have the most kids, yeah, they can afford new kids. Well, you can definitely afford a homeless person. So just continuing to bitch about how rich people are not paying their fair share, where, like, what the fuck do you owe society for being born within it? Fucking nothing, because that's not something they did for you. You don't owe them shit. But either way, I'm going on a huge monologue. I think everybody who watches my channel probably already knows that I believe all this and stuff, so it's like, fucking...
In the past year, as rents continue to soar across Florida, the real estate industry donated more than $7 million to Ron DeSantis, with about 2.5 million coming from real estate industry players who had not given in prior elections.
Real estate. I should probably look up what that is. Am I too lazy to? No, dude. There's no, I'm too lazy to look up what is real estate. Okay. What on earth is real estate? How can property give you money? Did he say like real estate? The real estate industry. Yeah, what is that? Okay, yeah. What is that? Okay, you're still a fucking moron. Yeah, Google is just so fucking moronic. Like, you look up a different question, and it will just look up the same shit. Okay, so that industry is basically the property. Like, the property is the industry. That is legit what Google's trying to tell me. Okay. Okay. Oh, so you mean land that is sort of owned by some big corporation that has monopoly on that, or different big corporations? I mean, that's more. I don't know. Okay, well, probably because they are grateful to DeSantis that their property rights at least are being maintained. DeSantis seems to not be very pro protecting our free speech rights, but at least he's protecting property rights, so that's good. Yeah, they would be thankful for him on that.
Now they go on to break down those numbers even more.
Dude, okay, so we get the basic of that. Basically, the basic thing to get out. I'm saying basic, lying to dude, what we get out of this is Cenk Uygur is a moron for the last thing he just said. Dude, Anna Kasparian is probably, imagine if they both went up against one another as president. Like, who do you think would win? The fake populist or the guy who's, like, probably more genuine than who's just drawn on himself because he's a moron? And, like, she is too, but, like, he just likes to go on the rails. And, like, let me just be as fucking appealing to my base, just as, just appealing to my audience as possible.
The Republicans, generally speaking, and not just generally speaking, I give you specific examples, are the aggressors, right? So we didn't just pass.
Like, Anna tries to appeal to different bases, but, like, he just tries to just go full into just, like, making his base hard.
Hundreds of laws against straight people.
It's so gay.
They just passed hundreds of laws.
The politicians, and we should fight them, Cenk.
Do you think the Republican voters are against those laws? Be honest.
Cenk, I mean, what do they hear? Constant libs of TikTok, constant propaganda that's meant to scare them about the others. You know this.
I know, but Anna, so what do we do? Because we can't
getting...
just go, okay, hey, you know what? Let's throw gay people
that is
under
not what I'm
this.
suggesting.
I know you're not suggesting that, so I'm asking, what do we do?
Okay, so do you think that you persuade them by saying you guys are...
Yeah, so I think Cenk's point is really... Dude, it's not even worth, it, bro. It's like, well, I don't know, when you go at conservatives with even worse points, Cenk Uygur is just way more factually incorrect than Tucker Carlson. Just way more. Kyle Kalinske is way more factually correct than Tucker Carlson, generally speaking, but Cenk Uygur is not. Maybe you change that since you have 5.36 million subscribers, a lot more than Kyle. How about you start, you know, not lying, telling this retard to stop lying, and how about you both stop being retarded, and then how about, I don't know, how about you take some Adderall before you take the show? Maybe then you'll dude, they'd probably just start getting even more into their talking points and just hyperventilating over the right wing, bro.
Stupid. You guys love crime. You guys are hateful. Ordinary people. Are you persuading them?
Dude, do you think you're persuading anybody by just going on Ben Shapiro and just looking at, oh, well, I really respect this guy. Okay, well, a left-winger who's at least open-minded enough to talk to Ben Shapiro, like the lowest bar to hit. He's not extreme in any way. Yeah, someone like Ben Shapiro is just very moderate. Like, I disagree with a lot of his takes, but he's very moderate. Like, someone like Ben Shapiro, yeah, like, his audience is maybe gonna, some of them go to her channel. And what are they gonna find? Oh, Ben Shapiro is pro-Second Amendment? Did you know Ben Shapiro's in favor of school shooting, guys? No, I'm not even trolling. I'm being serious. I'm being dead serious. Do you think these people, do you think you're persuading them?
Or are you just releasing, you know, the emotional frustration that I also feel myself?
No, this is super important, and this is a good question, and it has a very good answer. So we're in a political battlefield. We have to win on these elections so we can win on the bills, because they're winning the elections and winning the bills, and they're actually passing laws saying that gay people...
Dude, and I'm sure that if you keep being yourself, you're gonna change that. Yeah, just keep going at it, dude. Just keep being mad. It's like not at all what the Republicans want.
We're so evil.
It's not like, I'm not liking this at all, dude. Watching this dude have a mental breakdown XD, dude, I feel personally devastated watching this. Like, this dude feeling what he feels right now. This guy probably being bored as hell having to watch this fucking dude. This makes me, I mean, I like this guy. I feel bad for him for, like, I mean, then he chose to look at this, so it's like, dude, okay, I need to, bro, I'm high.
You can't have innocent kids hear about their existence, okay? Right. So I cannot let that stand. So how do you win?
Yeah, he's sort of trying to be like, we're like Britain during the... Yeah, I think that's probably where he's trying to take this conversation. Like, oh, we need to be just all in into our opposition. We don't give them, I don't know, we don't white knight them. We just call it out for what it is, because truth is the only... Like, he's sort of taking the Tucker Carlson approach, which is pretty ironic, of, no, you call it out for what it is, you don't white knight anything, this is wrong. If you just try to be polite and stuff, and you let them, it's like, no, you can't just like pretend that, oh, well, this isn't that big of a deal when they're banning books and shit. You gotta, like, have all the mental breakdown that this fucking, like, is worth, cause, I mean, shit, that's a pretty big deal, right? I guess he's sort of taking that approach, like, don't be apologetic towards Hitler, and fucking, like, let them, like, be like Britain, go full in, be like, no, we oppose this shit. But then, dude, Trump isn't Hitler. He's not attacking anybody. He's not, I mean, I know he didn't draw the parallel, but I think that's sort of the best parallel I could draw from that. But the thing is, like, Trump, he's trying to convince these people. That's how he got such a huge base, by being convincing. You're not really, if you're trying to convince his audience, yeah, attacking them isn't going to fucking help. And with Hitler, it wasn't like he was in favor of free speech. It's not like he allowed free speech. He had the authority to not allow it, and he used that authority. So you had to stand up with all the like, but this is people just having different views. Like, the fuck.
You win by winning the middle.
Like, this is not at all like
the middle, okay? So that's why sometimes when the left goes extreme, that doesn't help winning the middle. Okay, and it's, you have to look at the polling to see what people actually want. They defunded the police. You poll it in African-American neighborhoods, and it polls terribly. Don't tell me that they want it when they don't want it.
What does that have to do with her point? Like, you're sort of leaning into her thing now. We have to take a populist approach. Yeah, that's sort of what she's saying, dumbass. Like, are you just trying... you said, oh, well, this is a great point, and it deserves a great answer, and here it is. Dude, you're agreeing with her. You're like, oh, well, we need to win the middle people, because, like, we just go with this extreme left-wing stuff. Dude, yeah, the middle people, when they might have right-wing friends, when you attack all of the right-wingers as just people who have friends on both sides, since most people will identify with some political party. Anybody who respects their friends and has friends on both sides, so the normies, they hear you say, oh yeah, all politicians, I mean all Republicans, when the average person has Republican friends, yeah, they just like crime. Do you think that does versus doesn't turn the normies off? Like, what you're saying, like, the only response that'd get it back on topic would be, but you see my statement that Republicans are all like, they just love criminals. Like, that's different from me saying defund the police, because I don't know, that message must be very appealing to the base I'm trying to appeal to, like Republicans, or normies, apparently. Yeah, I'm sorry, but are you just, like, attacking, like, the average person's multiple friends, you'd guess, as just being bad? Literally, just, they're gay, bro. Like, that's not gonna appeal to normies, dude. I'm sorry, you're still retarded.
That's what you're talking about, Anna. That's the elite saying, oh, this is what the people want. It's not true. But when you're talking about winning the middle, you have to say,
dude, the middle want you to just attack random people in their circle, because it's inevitable that it'll fall to that, as just being bad. Yeah, that's, like, the middle tends to like these pole extremes that are just trying to be dividing. No, they tend to like non-divisive people who might be more in the middle, not extreme people who are like, everybody in the opposing party is bad. If they haven't quite made up their mind, for example, maybe not bashing the other side. When you haven't quite made up your mind, you see a side doing that, that is sort of gonna tune you off of that side if you're going to say the sake of first impression. Yeah, for first impressions, Cenk Uygur might tune you off of the Democratic Party. Secular Talk, on the other hand, unfortunately doesn't get us promoted in the algorithms because he's not as, like, clickbaity of a person, and, he's not just shameless like
if you're on
they
that
are.
side, it's not okay. It's not normal.
My life
it's
is
not,
so
hey,
dramatic.
50-50. Should we hate the gays or should we not hate the gays? No, if you hate people for who they are, you're a...
Dude, that has nothing to do with what Anna Kasparian said. Like, that is...
bit of a monster. I know you got turned into a monster by right-wing media and propaganda, and let's be honest, religion...
Yeah, I guess you, like, well, the real defense we always have is truth. That's why we should, like, we shouldn't be apologetic or look at Hitler back at, like, should we have been criminal apologists? Should we have, like, let him? Or should we have been, like, again, dude...
etc.
Like, I already...
So we're stuck.
But
in terms of the middle, no, I don't want you to think, as every stupid Democrat has done my entire life, it could be. Maybe you should hate black people on the TV.
Yeah, actually, like, getting all riled up over this. This is just the fuck.
And gays and all these people. I don't want to offend Republican voters. I don't want to offend them. Okay, so I gotta be a warrior for that. And Anna, you're a warrior for that. And you're an awesome warrior for that.
I know. I direct my ire toward those in power, Cenk, because I believe. Look, I mean, like, look at Florida.
Did he literally just end his attack segment, which he was just going off the rails and random shit, by just dick sucking her, pretty much? And then she's just like, no, bitch, you're still wrong, because what you said didn't even make sense. In fact, it wasn't, like, it wasn't even fucking English. Like, it wasn't even a sentence. Like, you were just talking about random stuff, just going off the rails. It's like, what the fuck even was that, dude? You, like, Yeah, what you said legit was just babble. Like, you're gonna have to do better,
As a
bro.
perfect example, they elected Obama
Just got rejected.
twice. Look at it.
Twice. Dude, they're getting so riled up over just Obama got it. It's like, you fucking kids, dude.
Look at Florida
This
now,
is
right? Obviously,
epic.
people can be persuaded, and you give up too easily. Like you just do. We have
No, I'm pretty sure he probably just used identity politics to be elected. But it seems, well, to be fair, it seems he was hardworking and he seems to have deserved his spot. And I don't know, I don't know anything obviously about Obama's presidency, but from what I've heard of him, like, I don't know, like, people around me seem to think, yeah, he did a good job, and, well, he was definitely, it seems, a better president than most presidents were, especially with foreign, relations and stuff. Like, he was a great, like, he was great in how he negotiated stuff with foreign countries, apparently, so. Yeah,
ideas that are appealing
I mean, I'm sure that that's got nothing to do. He was going up against Mitt Romney back then. He was not going up against Trump. Like, you're sort of comparing him being elected when he was black, when people were not really all that racist anymore then. Like, it was probably a bigger thing than it is now, but, like, I mean, I didn't know any racist people back then. I'm guessing it probably wasn't, actually.
Period. But all of the focus.
So it was like a long dead thing that you were like having a victory for.
By the mainstream Democratic Party is because they're paid by their donors and they don't actually want to push for the economic policies that would be popular. They dive into the culture wars too, right?
Yeah.
So it's like this endless like.
Yeah, because the Republican ideology is to not commit theft. Not even for the greater purpose of serving the greater good. Because people who own things, like citizens, they are entitled to their property. They shouldn't be forced to commit to just the cause of helping the greater good. They shouldn't be forced to do that, not with their property, not with their money. That is not their fucking responsibility. Like, society didn't offer them anything that they need to, like, they don't have any debt to society. Like, the only reason to be doing this, like, that is pretty much slavery. You're telling people, no, you are not your own property. You don't belong to yourself. In fact, well, by virtue of being born, you are in debt to us. Okay? Like, your money, like, your property, like, everything about you, yeah, it actually belongs to us. You are in debt of us. You owe money to us in favor of the greater good. Like, you owe your belongings, just, like, yeah, that person isn't really, they don't really own themselves anymore at that point, do they?
You're bad, no, you're bad, you're a terrible person, you're a terrible person. I'm not saying you don't fight the right-wing power players, you absolutely do. But if we're to have...
Dude, yeah, as I said, I did not expect this conversation to be substantive at all. And holy shit, I'm very glad he didn't watch the whole thing, because this is so non-substantive. It's like they're just talking... just past one another, just saying just dumb shit that has nothing to do with one another, and it's not even substantive. They're legit just agreeing that right wing are bad. Just, of course they debate on that. Let's just agree on, like, that thing, right wing bad. It's like, this is legit just circle jerking. Like, I fucking predicted this shit. This is hilarious. Like, I love how Secular Talk just has nothing to say. It's just so boring. Like, this is... Honestly, like, I'm deconstructing it because I'm fucking autistic, but, like, Secular Talk's probably just like, okay, buddy, like, fuck, you know.
Group be receptive to the popular policy ideas that we have. We can't persuade them by immediately attacking them and writing them off as all bad people. You guys are all bad people. You guys all love crime. You all love this. You all love that. Just doesn't make sense to me. And I disagree with your theory of change. The whole thing about winning over the middle, that is what elections have been about for decades. for decades.
No, but they have a false middle. Their middle is, bipartisan compromise that we should give billions more to corporations, and that's the middle of the country. That ain't the middle of the country. The middle of the country is an average guy, an average woman working their ass off.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure Anna, yeah, she just said it. It's like, yeah, but that sort of wasn't the point she was making, retard. It's like, this guy's being a hyper politician, literally to someone on his show. It's like, the guy is like, I think the guy said he ran for president. I could tell, dude. You're just avoiding every question of your own co-host. This is hilarious.
Etc. Right? So I address the actual middle as opposed to the Democratic Party. Look, here's my solution, and this is what I've been doing to the best of my ability.
Yeah, as if there was a... Yeah, I'm sure on that point you might be right, but that is a whole separate topic. You saying the right is for crime? No, that middle, the average person does not support that claim. The average middleman person who's not really for one side, hasn't really picked their team type bullshit. Like they're probably not gonna be just strongly in favor of any opinion that condemns another side as just in favor of criminals, just loving criminals. That's just so stupid. Like, then they'd be partisan. Then they'd be, well, in your case, socialists, probably.
Very wrongly, I'm sure, right? But
since we call them fascists,
I play both defense and offense. So if you're going to attack people, we're going to defend them, period. Okay? At the same time, and this is what none of the rest of the Democratic Party do. Bernie does it a little bit. Justice Democrats do it a tiny bit. But
and you do it so much, dude. What is this great, just benign thing that you do that's just this holy fucking thing that all the real ones, they should be doing too? What is it, you fucking scream a lot and you're fat? Is that...
But tiny.
Yeah.
Okay, what you have to do is play offense on economic issues.
Yes.
Yeah, Bernie actually does that a fucking lot. Isn't that like a majority of his campaign? Doesn't he go after the pharmaceutical companies more than anyone? Like he is pretty much in agreement with Tucker Carlson on those types of issues. I've heard. Yeah, isn't Bernie Sanders, isn't that pretty much all he does? And you claim to do that a lot. I'm pretty sure most of your videos are just you virtue signaling about Republicans like you are here. So, yeah, and apparently you tried running for president. I mean, the fuck? You definitely don't act like you're trying to say that these people should act.
Do you want higher wages, or do you want the Republican plan of lower wages? Do you want health care, or don't you want health care?
Bernie Sanders does that. Dude, okay, well, you get into the breakdown of economics. I'm guessing you probably don't know much more than me about fucking economics. That's right, jack shit, right? Probably you don't know jack shit either, so... For God's sake, this is the one thing they should go into the economic thing. Yeah, fucking give us the graphs and all that fucking gay. Yeah, you're on entertainment channel. And definitely not an educational channel. You're just a memes channel, more or less. You legit have some emoticons of y'all making stupid faces under there. And this is where your channel is. You're sort of a troll who doesn't realize he's a troll.
And I agree most on play all bit, but tiny. Yeah. Okay, what you have to do is play offense on economic issues.
Yes.
Do you want
this guy
wages,
is
or do you want the Republican plan of lower wages? Do you want health care, or don't you want health care?
Do you believe in property rights? Again, how about you frame it right? Again, that is not a neutral point of view. Your framing is that, well, my right-wing framing, at least I'd agree it's right-wing, is, well, are you in favor of theft? And that is a definition of, taxes. Do you want to steal them? These higher wages, you are stealing that money from people. people agreed to get paid these lower wages, so that's all these people owe you. If you're forcing them to raise that amount of money when they are the ones negotiating that, and well, they are the ones paying the price of the service, they should get to say how much that service, how much they think it's worth, because they're the ones fucking paying for it. And again, if you disagree with that, go somewhere else. If you don't like the way everything is, well, how about you fucking use the meritocracy system? We have to fucking change that.
For God's sake, this is the one thing Anna and I agree most on. Play offense on economic issues. And look, right wing, let me just say this. I don't mind if you hate me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you try to make them hate you because it makes your base love you more. And as divisive as it might be, well, you'll probably hate Tucker when he does stuff like that, like pretending to like Trump. But dude, you will absolutely do that same shit. You will just try to pander to your audience as much as possible, and like you want the right to hate you. You want everybody who watches your video and is right wing. You're pretty much doing that trigger the lib thing in reverse, where I like that, but you're sort of a moron, and you're not funny. Like, if you were, like, at least funny, or, like, a moron that's funny or not a moron, and, like, okay, but you're 5, it's like, you fucking why? Why do you have all these subs? That's pretty ridiculous. XD.
I'm gonna fight you, and you're gonna fight me, okay? On these culture war issues, it probably lasts the rest of our lifetime, okay? But can we just agree on things that are not culture war issues? Don't you want higher wages and healthcare?
Again, that is not a right-wing framing. That is not a neutral framing. That is a left-wing framing. My right-wing framing would be, dude, shut the fuck. Yeah, my mother's a fucking communist XD, pretty much. Nah, she's a socialist, yeah, dude, fuck it, dude, I forget what the fuck I was saying.
These culture war issues, it probably lasts the rest of our lifetime, okay? But can we just agree on things that are not culture war issues?
Yeah, so that's bad framing. Are you in favor of theft? Do you think theft, do you think we should steal more? Do you think theft is good? Do you think authoritarianism is good? Because that is another framing that is correct.
Care. And I know some of you say, no, not if it means working with a lib. And by the way, some of us say, not if it means working with a bigot, a racist, a homophobe, etc.
Not if it means... No, that's not the right-wing position. You're just tormenting it fucking again. The right... And again, I responded to that. Let me just go back to fucking that, okay? I think I made that very clear in this. Jesus, my hair was on this. Reconciliatory, no. Conservatives, do you know what we're going to give you if progressives win? Higher wages. You want to own the libs and ban books that mention some of us, whoever that is. We want to make sure you have more food on your table and get wages you deserve. Okay, so are you going to pay these higher wages out of your own pocket, or are you going to steal that money from other people? We on the right don't care about ourselves, we care about morals. That's why we vote for policies that are objectively against our own best interests. I mean, take free healthcare, for example. Do you think these people just don't realize the event? And yeah, by the way, my position on healthcare, I don't know. Like, it's definitely one of these things where, generally in politics, it comes down to, like, lesser of two evils. Like, do you want to let people die? Or, like, well, you don't have the means. You could just steal people, just, pretty much enslave people, like, steal a portion of all the money they will earn. So, that's not like you forcing them to take a side job that they aren't going to get paid for. Like, a portion of what they will earn from working, you're stealing it from them. That's like forcing them to take a side hustle they aren't going to get paid for. That's slavery. And on top of that, you're just stealing people's stuff, so you're disregarding their property rights. You're just stealing people's things in order to, well, do for the greater good. Both are wrong, but I guess in the case of healthcare, not only would it apparently it'd make our economy stronger, because the amount that we have to like lose on healthcare, since people just like dying earlier, they're just going financially bankrupt from not having free healthcare, that makes people more poor, and well, in general, people would just be alive for longer, have more taxes they would get to pay, all of that stuff, they would have more money you'd get to steal from them, and you'd get to milk them even more to just be parasites off of those who give you taxpayer money. Instead of actually giving them the opportunity uh, to pay that money willingly, and to give them incentives to pay that money. Such as, well, do you want to benefit off of, like, all of the services we might offer that y'all would be voluntarily paying for? Like, I've talked about what my alternative to stolen taxpayer money would be. I might make a video on that at some point, but I've definitely talked about it in live streams a lot. Let me just keep going. Therefore get sick and need healthcare. Yeah, let me get older and therefore, for example, do you think these people just don't realize they're eventually gonna get older and therefore get sick and need healthcare? I mean, you'd have to be even more stupid than, say, someone who'd allow society to confuse them into thinking you're the opposite gender. Neither of those really happen because people just aren't that stupid. So when people Cenk Uygur might be against policies such as free healthcare for all, what? Free college. Yeah, I was just listening to a script. We're not arguing in favor of ourselves. In my headphones. We're arguing in favor of big companies' property rights. So companies like Apple and Google and Microsoft, it's just a matter of applying the golden rule of treat others the way you want to be treated. Because you wouldn't really want someone to break into your house and take your things just because they need or deserve them more than you do. Stealing is always wrong, period. Whether it be for a good cause, it's not your call to make. It doesn't matter if you steal money. Yeah, because it's not your money. And then donate it to charity. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. Yeah, it's like, you might have a good cause, but it's not your call to make when it's not your money to be using. Like, even if you, let's say you wanted to gamble with somebody else's money, but like, oh, if you gain from that, oh, you know you're gonna gain. You got a big strategy, and all that money, you're going to give it to charity. Well, let me steal people's money just to, I don't know, do trading. That's better than... Yeah, let's just use trading. I'm a professional trader, dude. Your money will go to great use, dude. I'm going to steal your money, and I'm going to trade all of it and gain just so much. And it's going to make, you know what? I'm going to make a sustainable source of money. I'm just going to trade it to generate more and more income to keep donating to these charities. So unlike the government, it's gonna be, like, I'm not gonna keep being a parasite. I'm just gonna steal your money once, and just use it to, like, make an endless source of revenue to just donate to charity, right? Like a great charity that pretty much everybody would believe in donating to and shit. You still shouldn't be allowed to do that, and most people would agree with me, so I'd have a pretty populist type position on that. Well, taxes and all of that, that's stealing. And if you actually take a look at the definition, if you disagree that taxes are stealing, you are just disagreeing with the definition of a word. Like, you should go learn a different language. And if you take a look at it in the right framing, again, like, something that wouldn't be theft would be a contract. You get to say, and yeah, I said I wouldn't go into this, but I sort of have to now. Like, you say, well, you know, all these things you benefit from, like public services, all, like the roads and stuff. like we could try giving like I don't know Walmart's like big places like that incentives to like not allow people who aren't paying their taxes to go there. And yeah, if you are like using the, and again, like very rich people, they can get away without all of that. But if they want to live out on their own, not benefit off of society, not have any debts to pay back to society, they inherited a lot of money. It's like that money is theirs, and they should get to use it however the fuck they want. So, I mean, yeah, and if you can't using public services, um, and you haven't paid your taxes, well, your fine should be all the taxes that you haven't paid since you've last paid your taxes, or since, well, people would use loopholes around that, so, well, something, yeah, all the taxes you haven't paid for the last 2 years or something. That could be the type of fine you'd have for that type of stuff. Yeah, people would pay their taxes, and on top of that, you could have a price breakdown of every unique policy. Like, since you'd make taxing, well, it would no longer be. My idea would be, don't make taxing be a burden on the people. You don't make the taxes be the people's stolen taxpayer money. Make the taxes be the voice of the people, where you have a breakdown of everything you'd want these taxes to go into, and these people can choose like which ones they fund. If some stuff like isn't getting funded enough, like the politicians, instead of getting to be up there to promise to like speak on the behalf of the people, and we all know how that works again, yeah, their jobs would be to, well, the people have the autonomy now. They get to put however much of their taxpayer money into any issue, and the politicians wouldn't be there to promise to represent them when they won't. They'd be there to, like, let the people know, hey, this and that issue, y'all should start funding this more, and here's why. That should be what they're there for, more like for advertisers for those issues. And the taxpayers should be the ones having a voice, because their money individually is being stolen for causes that they don't necessarily believe in. Because, yeah, most people don't agree with how the country's being ruled, ever.
You can look into that in terms of where it's coming from. You know, real estate developers, home builders, realtors, property managers, which at this time stand at a whopping 96 million.
Okay, dude, yeah, I don't know, I'm back to that anyway.
etc. So
yeah, I still haven't gone to our Cycle Talk response to that. My stream is still going. That's epic.
Either now or later, but you have to fight together.
Dude, this guy is just such a politician. He's just dodging every day. Like, that is not at all anything to do with what Anna said, dude. Nothing to do with it. It's like, it's so easy, because she just gets to ask a very straightforward question. Like, she's just leaning towards a more populist position. And, like, you're actually taking the more moral type stance here. Because she's just ridiculous. Like, she's just not at all, like, she's not at all committed to that stance. She, like, contradicts herself all the time. She's completely, just, like, she does not, like, fucking, what's it called? She does not adhere to that principle that she's going by here in her own videos, but, dude, I'm so fucking high. I sound so retarded. Well, you know what? I have 0 views, so it's fine.
Issues where the people at the top, the donors, are crushing the living crap out of both of us. Let's stop the robbery first.
Stop the robbery. Coming from it, so you want to increase taxes to stop the robbery. So you want to increase the amount of money that's being stolen in order to stop robbery. Like, it doesn't get fucking any better than that. Like, I've made compilations of this guy. I didn't look through a lot. Like, this is literally how this guy speaks. like, I looked at, like, maybe 2 to 3 videos, and that's what my whole, Cenk Uygur is a moron compilation. That's probably the most viewed video on my channel today. That I saw, like, 2 to 3 different videos that I took clips from. At least from Cenk Uygur. Like, it doesn't take that many videos. You don't have to dig into his past or his stuff to find hypocrisy with him. Like, he's legit just talking retard. Who talks a lot and a lot.
And then we can go back to fighting.
How do you get people to work together when the beginning of that proposal is...
She's just, like, yeah, let me not press him on that, because he's sort of my boss, so let me just go around and try to re-ask the question differently. I bet that's sort of where she's going with this. She's sort of, like, acting like... I don't know why I was just looking at videos on that, but, like, the Tara Reid shit, where, like, the lady was just interviewing the president, and she was like, yeah, let me not just address the fact that you didn't answer the question, and, like, answer it. Yeah, let me go around to just sort of suck
We hate you
off,
guys.
you know?
We think you're stupid. We think you love
They
criminals.
hate us. You think they don't hate
No,
us?
they do hate us. They do.
Yeah, so he sort of... And the Humanist Report takes a... I think he's sort of just very clumsily trying to make a similar point to what the Humanist Report said. The Humanist Report will go in the direction of... Look, we shouldn't back off of policies that the... And this Anna and Cenk agree on, by the way, and I agree on too on the Humanist Report, Dan's. It's just Cenk's missing the point when he attacks all Republicans. That's got nothing to do with that policy-wise. But, yeah, the Humanist Report will say, dude, the left wing should stop voting on so many right-leaning bills just because this kid, they're just gonna get called socialist. It's like, they're gonna get called socialist no matter what, so they might as well vote for the right policies. They both agree on that, and the Humanist Report actually makes that point, except he doesn't make it like an autistic person. He just, like, he makes a very compelling argument, and I agree with the Humanist Report. Yeah, the left should absolutely vote for what they believe is right. Everybody should vote for... Like, they shouldn't let their vote be influenced by, oh, well, this opposing... Well, I mean, to be fair, I think it's a very fair way to want to vote to think, well, what does everybody think of this? How will everybody react? Because I represent everybody. Like, even the people who didn't vote for me, well, they still deserve to be represented. But, like, the way a bipartisan system sort of works, if you're gonna get any progress, since it's sort of, just go against one another no matter what on everything, yeah, that's sort of why it's not really efficient when it's legit just two cookie-cutter opinions that are formed around just being combative with one another. But, yeah, you sort of have to represent your party instead of all of your people, because all of your people, that's just two clashing opinions, so you have to go sort of with your party in that way. But yeah, I definitely agree. You shouldn't just lean towards some right-wing policies that you don't necessarily agree with. Like, apparently, I know Sandy Cortez, when she, like, cried after casting a like, cowardly ballot, apparently, like, yeah, maybe she should have just said fuck it and just cast the right ballot that she believed in. Like, yeah, I would definitely agree with that type of stuff, but
you have to fight together.
Like, that's not at all. You're talking policy-wise. Like, she's talking, hey, you on your show that is 5 million subs say, Republicans just like criminals. Do you think that normies like that? That's just a whole separate issue. Like, this guy's just debating it so hard, and he's doing that to his co-host. That's so funny. Like, his point is so absurd, and, like, it's just sort of him being challenged. You know what, let me play those conspiracy theories, because he does that with Tucker Carlson, when Tucker Carlson is talking about Trump, he just has all these conspiracies about how he's trying to take on Trump to become the next president or some gay shit like that. Well, dude, maybe that's Anna Kasparian, the person who's obviously not got a huge moral compass, since she's now attacking Tucker for doing exactly what she did to Ben Shapiro, just suck up to him in real life, and then literally on her show just say, yeah, I can't stand this guy, he's a complete dipshit, a talentless hack, loser, just a corporate shill with zero moral compass, who's legit just in favor of school shootings as long as he gets paid. Like, just zero moral, fucking, what's it called? Doesn't care about morals, this guy. Just absolute, just horrible person, right? When on his show, she goes and says the opposite. Yeah, that person, maybe she doesn't really like you, Cenk. Like, what do you know? Maybe, she's tired of the fact that you're a moron, and she's trying to, like, take an opposite direction to have her own, thing. Maybe she's going to do the same thing that Steven Crowder did, like backstabbing Ben Shapiro, because Steven Crowder's an absolute morally depraved cunt. In fact, that's why a lot of right-wingers hate him. Like, a lot of them. They just, like, Gutfeld apparently doesn't like him. Gutfeld's a pretty respectable person. Steven Crowder, the fucking guy who complained about a $50 million contract being oppressive, which he fucking signed. Like, he, motherfucker legit, you can't make this shit up. There was a video on his channel, where, like, which was called Millionaire Complaints About Being Oppressed by a $1 million Contract, XD, like, that type of shit, so... Yeah, maybe Anna Kasparian's just trying to, like, since obviously you're just sort of taking that, let's just appeal full to my base. He's sort of going like Trump. Let me just appeal to just full woke left. Just appeal to the mob of, we hate the Republicans, dude. And, like, Anna might be seeing that, oh, well, since that point is sort of retarded and Cenk is retarded, and, well, I'm sort of retarded too, but maybe not as much as he is, so, yeah, I could sort of, like, be nice to him, but sort of press him on this issue and let him fucking speak, because I don't really need to, like, push back against him to bring up why he's a moron. Just let him speak, okay? He'll tell us why he's a moron. Okay, he'll let us see that he's a fucking moron. Just, like, I ask him the question, well, what do you know? Maybe she knows him better than I do, and she just knew it was going to derail on that. You know what? I think that's a great conspiracy theory, and since you tend to make those types of conspiracy theories on Tucker and assert them as facts, as I point out in my compilation, well... You know what? Maybe Anna doesn't really like you, dude. Just like she doesn't really like Ben Shapiro. That's what she tells him in person. Well, she hasn't met a lot with him. Well, maybe she does that more than twice. Maybe that's what she does with you. And she actually doesn't like you that much. Like, that's the only thing you politically disagree on. Like, this circle jerking issue of you just both think Republicans are fucking morons, but you disagree on how to handle that. Like, okay, dude, that's literally all you disagree on. Okay, buddy.
Together on economic issues where the people at the top, the donors, are crushing the living crap out of both of us. Let's stop the robbery first, and then we can go back to fighting.
How do you get people to work together when the beginning of that proposal is, we hate you guys. We think you're stupid. We think you love criminals.
They hate us. You think they don't hate us?
They do hate us. They do hate us.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is it's okay. Hate us. We hate you. But let's work together so we don't get robbed. The guy's walking away with the freaking money. Let's...
Yeah, as if they were going to be just reasonable enough to see. So basically, let's see if that's gonna... Do you think the right likes Bernie Sanders? Do you think your approach is gonna work better than Bernie Sanders? Where you're a moron, whereas Bernie Sanders isn't. So that's going to help you? I don't know how that's going to help you, but maybe, I mean, help Trump.
First. So it's just an honest way of dealing with it. Instead of saying like, oh my God, maybe you guys are right about X, Y, or Z.
No, I never said that, Cenk. I never want the straw. Okay.
That is a straw man, but I love how she's like, oh, I just can't fool it. Yeah, maybe because that's been his entire thing. He's just derailed on a separate thing. If this is like, I don't know, an extra like 13 minutes or whatever you said that, like he just like cut. I'm sure that's probably been all he's done the entire time. Yeah, that is sort of all he's been doing, just avoiding the question and just responding to the side, just talking about a whole separate fucking issue. And just bringing it back to where, oh, we agree on that, oh yeah, I agree, but, where Anna can just always say, yeah, I agree, but, and just frame the sentence, you're sort of not answering the question, buddy, just in a kind of way. And sort of just let him paint himself as the moron by just continuing to sort of repaint that same question, and, yeah,
that is no, you love straw manning. You love it. I'm trying to be as fair as possible during this conversation. You're intentionally misrepresenting what I'm saying.
Damn, she's taking a jab at him now, isn't he? Because he does fucking love straw manning. In fact, that's his entire show. Every time he criticizes Republicans, he usually, it's like straw man, well, non-arguments, let's just extend it to that. That's literally what his entire show is. What personal attack, what have you, straw man, anything, just fucking anything, just making up some dumb shit, just saying he's offended. That's probably some logical fallacy that he probably invented.
Obviously, I don't agree with the hateful rhetoric. I don't like any of it, okay? But it's really interesting to me that when you had a candidate like Obama who ran on hope and change, who ran on economic issues, all of these people who are now enamored with Donald Trump actually voted for Obama. Gee, I wonder why that is. Could it be that in lieu of a candidate that actually represents their economic interests, they just go for the cult of personality who owns the libs? That is what happens. That is our political landscape right now. So we can continue attacking ordinary people that we disagree with, and to be sure, I do disagree with them. But we have to also, more importantly, if you ask me, focus on the systems that has created this mess in the first place. And sometimes I feel like the focus isn't where it needs to be. That's all I'm saying.
All right, super last thing on it. Look, Anna's...
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of all she's been trying to tell you. And that's sort of all she's been telling you. She's just been sort of trying to get to it. And, well, you still haven't had a single response. That is so sad. If she ever runs for president, I'm sure she will run that clip. Well, since we like to make conspiracies on Tucker in the same way, I think it's fair for me to do the same thing. I don't think that's actually gonna happen, by the way. But, yeah, just to meme him, I thought that it'd be funny to bring up.
Again, not wrong about the facts. So Obama, when he came into office, had around an 80% approval rating. So if the whole country was racist, or all Republicans were racist, why was his approval rating that high? Why did he win a whole bunch of red...
Is Cenk making that point now?
Right? So it's, if you think that...
Is he about to say that Republicans became racist with Trump? But he appealed to them
only
later.
Answer is racism, bigotry, etc. You're wrong. The facts do not prove out your thesis. Okay.
Right.
Wait, that proves out your entire channel's thesis. Actually, yeah, that's y'all's thesis. That's your channel's underlying premise. The right's racist, bro. They're just terrible racist people. Racist. That's the biggest word you have for bad.
So, but if you think
that sort of debunks your whole channel.
Well, you're probably not on the left anyway. Of course it exists, right? And of course it applies to some people. But whether...
Is he talking about racism? Oh yeah, of course it exists. We're not saying that like you should unsubscribe from us if you already are. Like, no, of course we're not saying that.
Had around an 80% approval rating. So if the whole country was racist, or all Republicans were racist, why was his approval rating that high? Why did he win a whole bunch of red states, right? So it's, if you think the only answer is racism, bigotry, etc., you're wrong. The facts do not prove out your thesis, okay? Right. So, but if you think that problem doesn't exist...
Well, like the whole thing you were arguing about, because y'all agreed sort of on that point that you made, but, Yeah, she's saying we should focus on the economics, which you agree with, and the only thing y'all were disagreeing on was, yeah, maybe if I want to win more people over, I don't, like, accuse everybody who's leaning towards one side of, I don't know, being pro school shootings, being in just loving criminals.
Well, you're probably not on the left anyway. Of course it exists, right? And of course it applies to some people. But whether it's the majority or half of Republicans or a third of Republicans, I don't know. But I do know that whatever percentage of Republicans that is, they're winning their primaries, they're winning general elections, and they're passing laws that enforce their hatred of us onto all of society, right? Whereas our side can't play defense.
Dude, where is the disagreement here? Like, they aren't disagreeing on anything except, like, that, which isn't really what they're talking about. Like, I think Anna sort of moved on from that now. She's like, okay, like, the audience sort of gets that Cenk's a moron for that, so I'm not gonna keep, like, splashing that in his face,
So I'm trying to help on both fronts, but I'm sure very imperfectly so, and it's a good conversation.
This isn't even a debate by any measures. This is like you and your wife fucking just being drunk and arguing and thinking you're arguing, but you're sort of just circle jerking. Like, you and your wife just drinking and just getting all emotional over politics, but really circle jerking. That's what this is, okay? Just so you get it right.
So I like lead gen, and I also
why is BetterHelp?
I hate lead gen. It's way more complicated.
Oh, this isn't BetterHelp. Shit, have a similar logo. I wonder why BetterHelp is allowed to advertise themselves. Like, Keemstar, like on the Baited podcast, they are just completely expose how BetterHelp is a scam. They don't hire licensed professionals, and as soon as you sign up for the free trial, they automatically charge you like $800 or so on your bank account. So they steal money from you. They are scammers. Why would they sell out? But this isn't them, by the way. Anyway.
So Michael Brooks had a great quote: "Be kind to people, be ruthless to systems." And that's the crux of this debate. Is that, right? Because from Anna's perspective, she feels like Cenk is too hard and too dismissive of.
Why did that take like 9 minutes? Okay, 2:30 to Okay, so basically 6 minutes and a half. It took 6 minutes and a fucking half for them to, yeah, that was pretty much the only bit that could have been expressed in fucking 40 seconds, like everything they had to say. Or actually even less. Cenk Uygur, I'm a moron. I mean, okay, that's not, dude, I'm really high, but yeah, fucking 40 seconds, okay. Everything they had to say.
Believing absolute garbage, and instead of trying to constructively sort of deprogram them and get them out of that, you make them hate you more, and you make them double down more when you say things like Republicans love criminals, because then they're gonna circle the wagons, they're gonna get defensive, they're gonna say that's not a fair categorization of what I believe. And Anna makes the point, like, I don't know if you saw it in this clip, but she makes the point of like, obviously the argument they would make is not that Donald Trump is a criminal and I like him because
yeah, exactly. Like, dude, this is the most reasonable guy you'll get, just breaking down their nonsense. This guy has 1 million subs. They have 5 million. Fucking why? It's so sad.
He's a criminal. They would argue,
like, this guy's amazing.
No, he's a victim of a witch hunt, and it's the establishment and the deep state targeting him, and they're doing that because he's an outsider.
Yeah,
he's not part of the club. He busts up business as usual and all those things. So that's what they would, to steel man their position, that's what they would say. So I guess I definitely lean more in the pro Anna direction in this debate, because the way you handle
how could you not?
So accurately,
to be honest,
understand what their position is and then respond to their actual position instead of smugly saying you just love criminals. And so the way to deconstruct that would be to show this guy isn't an outsider. He's not anti-establishment. He's a billionaire. He's part of the club. All of his policy proposals were pro-establishment. His biggest legislative accomplishment was a tax cut, which was $2 trillion to the wealthy. 83% of the benefits went to the top 1%. He ran as the anti-outsourcing guy, but then there were...
And well, to be fair, my response to that, and I've probably made it fucking multiple times in this fucking live stream that no one's watching, by the way, but, yeah, again, these people, the majority of, like, more money was stolen from them than from anyone else. Like, the ones who pay the most taxes because they're richer, yeah, most of the money was, yeah, it's, sort of where you would start. Like, you are a massive debt. You've stolen the most amount of money from them. Maybe, if you want to give these people a break, start stealing less money from them, which, I mean, you can't argue that's bad. Well, maybe you'd start with them. That's sort of, like, my argument to that.
Jobs that were outsourced.
That makes sense.
So, if you steel man the opposition and then address their specific concerns, there's some percentage of them that you're going to make them go, oh, okay, well, that's a fair point. You know, I never thought of it from that perspective. But if you just flippantly and glibly and smugly say, you just love criminals,
yeah,
well, they're going to be like, I hate Cenk Uygur, and you are not being fair, you're not being kind, you're not accurately restating my position to me. And so, ultimately, I think Anna's more correct. You know, can you find examples of Republicans who will say, yes, I know Trump did it, but I also still like him?
Yeah, exactly, fucking zero. Yeah, that's yeah, we both sort of made the same points. That's amazing.
So at least in this specific instance, I like a criminal. Yeah, you'll find some like that, but those are the ones we'd put in the category of TFG, the too far gones.
And honestly, I don't think you will find anybody who says that.
But I guess the debate here is what percentage are actually TFG, and what percentage are
well, that's not. I don't know, because that is sort of the center of their debate, and like, too far gones, like, no, like, what they're talking about in the too far gones, like, 0% of these people, like, people who will believe anything Trump says, 0 of them believe that he's a criminal. 0%. Like, the more they are, like, pro-Trump, the more they are just what's it called? Dude, the more they're ingrained in the cult, the more they'll lean towards Trump definitely did not do any crime. He's not a criminal, man. No, bro, not him, dude. He would never. He even said he didn't commit a crime. Now, those are the words of God, pretty much. And it's like, that'd be more towards the too far gones they're talking about position. And, well, yeah, like, when they say in the discussion, like, the too far gones, like, we're just trying to, like, change their minds, right? Which, imagine TYT on their show trying to, like, that's like Tucker Carlson claiming that he's trying to change, secular talk's mind when he does his show. That he, like,
percentage or savable.
No, like, Tucker Carlson, he's not trying to appeal necessarily to, at least if his show was like Cenk Uygur's, like, Tucker Carlson does bring on a lot of facts, and he does do a great job at making a good appeal, but, yeah, he's very right-leaning. He won't act like, oh, I'm sure most of my audience is left-wingers, and on top of that, it so happens that he's the most watched show, even by left-wingers, so he doesn't even have to try on that. He can just keep being himself.
At this point, there was, I think, 9 million voters who voted for Obama twice and then voted for Trump. Obviously, with those specific people, you can't say it's the racism, it's the bigotry, it's the xenophobia. Like, that's why they voted for Trump. So, look, it's a complex conversation. I like this debate that they had. To Steelman Cenk's position,
I can't believe that Cenk would make that point.
Argue,
the fuck?
I'm making a point that's mean and
tough, and it didn't even have anything to do with anything either, like.
But true, he would say. And if anything, he could say, I'm sort of...
Like, I mean, yeah, I guess it sort of did, because, like, he's sort of saying, these people are redeemable, and you just gotta Like, which again had nothing to do with him saying Republicans are criminals, but yeah, like I guess I would argue not all of them are irredeemable. But then, yeah, again, it has nothing to do with the normies who he's trying to supposedly appeal. No.
Trying to give them like a tough love perspective. Like, hey man, wake up, snap out of it. You love criminals.
Yeah, he's putting it in the exact words. Yeah, if I was like unwritten, that's how I would
you want to be. You know, you say you're a law and order guy, but ultimately you're defending a criminal who there's all the evidence in the world he is a criminal. So it's like wakey, like snap out of it. And I mean, I guess my only issue with that would be I just think Anna's approach is more effective, and it's the approach I try to take on this show, right? Which is
it fucking is.
The real problem are the
like that was Anna's point all along,
elites.
And true.
Basically, 100% of the Republicans.
Secular talk is so good. It just like getting all this like gibble wobble bullshit, like all of their fucking retardation, and just putting the like the best analysis he can of it and making some smarter. Yeah, I completely agree with that. And sometimes you have to do that. It's
politicians and like 80 to 85% of the Democratic politicians. Like, that's the problem. The problem is the system. The problem are the incentive structures in the system. And, you know, I may disagree with my neighbor on a whole host of issues. But at the end of the day, if you really get down to it, I think they would honestly say, some conservative neighbor, I just want what's best for everybody. I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to be healthy. And I want everybody to feel fulfilled. And so then the question becomes, well, how do we get to that point? Which brings us full circle to where they're both right, which is, look, Florida in the 2020 election voted for Trump over Biden, but 60% of Florida voters voted to raise the minimum wage in a direct ballot initiative. So what that tells you is, once you get down to the specific issues, yeah, the left ideas are overwhelmingly popular. So, in other words, it's a colossal failing.
Yeah, and that's sort of what I was bringing up at the beginning. Yeah, again, like that was the whole point. Dude, I need to get to that. Yeah, that was the whole point of me bringing up this video. That's exactly what Secular Talk is bringing up here. Yeah, it's phenomenal point. I knew I was going to bring that up.
It's a colossal failure for us not to be able to bridge the gap and tell people, we are offering exactly what you want anyway, right? If the overwhelming majority want to raise the minimum wage, the overwhelming majority want higher taxes on the rich, the overwhelming majority want universal health care, the overwhelming majority want paid time off. Like, we can go down the list. The overwhelming majority want to get money out of politics and end the corruption. So if on paper, so many people are already with us, then I would say, yes, the onus is on us to sort of deprogram them, defeat the propaganda, and make them understand, like, this is the solution and we can work together on the solution, and all the other stuff is just noise. All the other stuff is just a distraction. You know, the culture war stuff is just, it's intentional. It's to try to get people who would agree and have the same class interest to beat each other's throats while the rich run out the back door with all the money. And so ultimately, I definitely agree more with Anna's position. I think there might be some percentage of Republicans where Cenk's, you know, sort of tough perspective on the Republican voter might actually shake him out of it and wake up.
No. Absolutely not. They hate the left, and specifically for that type of stuff that the right makes caricatures of the left for. Libs of TikTok. They just bring up just insane left-wing people who just say insane stuff. Well, Cenk Uygur is an insane left-winger who just says insane stuff. And stuff like that. Like, they are exactly what the right-wingers tell you every left-winger is. When you have people like Secular Talk who, unlike Cenk Uygur, are not just retarded idiots who identify as left-wing and will defend the left-wing no matter what.
Come up. But I think you'll probably deconvert more people by sort of very carefully treating their arguments, steel manning their perspectives, and then responding to the steel man with facts and with good arguments. And the thing is, like, I think Cenk is a...
But then, Anna, down the line, people might start saying, imagine if she ran for president. Oh, look at what you said to Ben Shapiro. Well, to be fair, I'm surprised on her fucking 5 million subscriber channel. Like, I haven't heard her being called out for this by anybody, so.
Great communicator, and he would be able to steelman a right-wing perspective. He used to be a Republican. He could steelman, a right-wing voter's perspective, and then deconstruct that steelman argument. And by the way, that's also more fun. It is less fun to just strawman your opponent and act like you're just a...
What is a steelman? I thought he was talking about a strawman and like another word for, What is that? Oh yeah, trying to explain to someone, like, exactly, yeah, I get where you're coming from, this is where you're coming from, right? And actually trying to, like, nail it at what, like, where they're coming from, what they're thinking, so you at least, like, see, oh, like, are we on the same page on this? That's not at all what Cenk Uygur would ever try to do with Republicans, ever.
Total idiot, and like, I don't need to take the time to address every concern you have. No.
Yeah, I sort of might need to go back on this. Like, I thought he meant strawman by that.
Defeat the propaganda and make them understand, like, this backdoor with all the money. And so, ultimately, I definitely agree more with Anna's position. I think there might be some percentage of Republicans where Cenk's sort of tough perspective on the Republican voter might actually shake him out of it and wake him up. But I think he'll probably deconvert more people by sort of very carefully treating their arguments, steel-manning their perspectives, and then responding to the steel man with facts and with good arguments. And the thing is, like, I think Cenk is a great communicator, and he would be able to steel man.
He does not do that. Maybe in his debates, like the debate with Tucker Carlson. Oh yeah, I absolutely agree. The debate with Ben Shapiro, not so much. I mean, again, you have to take into consideration the fact that the guy is a moron, and like he's just not able to bring the best arguments you could bring. For example, like Ben Shapiro brought up the fact that, oh well, like to go against healthcare, he was like, oh well, look at this like third world country, like in some shitty Middle Eastern country that, well, they have healthcare, legally speaking, you're allowed to have healthcare. Well, guess what? If you go over there and get sick, you'll probably fucking die, right? Like, that was literally Ben Shapiro's argument, which he usually comes up with much better arguments. But, Cenk Uygur on that could have just responded with, yeah, well, talking about first world countries here, since we're talking about the United States, here are all the countries, such as France, where I'm from, they have free healthcare. Like, libtard country as France says, of course I wouldn't want this country to be like that fucking country. No, no way. But they do have free healthcare that works, and they are a first world country, more comparable to us. And, yeah, Cenk Uygur didn't even think of bringing that up, I'm pretty sure.
Like, and a right-wing perspective. He used to be a Republican. He could steelman, a right-wing voter's perspective, and then deconstruct that steelman argument. By the way, that's also more fun. It is less.
And yeah, to be fair, by the way, now I don't get into debates with anybody ever. I have once on the Ask Yourself Discord server, which I'm now banned from XD, for having like extreme type position, which ironically the Ask Yourself Discord servers revolved around what's considered to be an extreme position, but
less fun to just strawman your opponent and act like you're just a total idiot and like I don't need to take the time to.
Yeah, that's sort of Cenk's show though. Like, I feel like Sector Talk doesn't really watch Cenk's show, or maybe he sees it from a different perspective than I fucking do.
You can do it.
No idea.
If you do it, you'll have a higher deconversion rate. But I think, ultimately, you just do the best you can and take it from there. And so I think I agree more with Anna's perspective, and that's why she got very triggered when Cenk made the point, like, Republicans just love criminals. Because it's like, yeah, then the right will fire back.
Yeah, she will get triggered at anything. Like, she just got triggered on Twitter. Like, she bothered getting up and making a tweet. She wasn't, like a tweet. She wasn't just like already sort of on air and being filmed and all. No, she bothered making a tweet to like bitch about the fact that some people online are referring to women as people with uteruses when trying to make a point about it. Yeah, so that's the type of shit she has mental breakdowns over, so.
Back and say, well, you lefties love criminals even more because there's some left-wing activists who are in favor of defund the police. And it's like, if you hear that argument as somebody on the left, you would never accept it. Because you would say, do you even know what that means? Like, have you read any of the literature on defund and what they're actually saying, what they're actually
Yeah.
for?
And he made a great point about that.
It's not, agree or disagree with it, and I don't like the slogan either, but it's not a crazy position because they're just saying, take a certain percentage of the police budget and put it more towards, like, crisis rescue teams, people who are trained in psychology and psychiatry and can talk people down when they're going through a crisis.
Yeah, so it's sort of like what CNN did with the George Floyd protest. Like, they just knew it'd be clickbaity, but it'd hurt the movement long term, but they were just doing it for the clicks. They didn't give a shit, right? So, like, yeah, that thing of defund the police, it's loud and it's, well, angry, and I guess they could be angry if they really believe that these things are just happening, just over and over to people that look like them just for looking like them, because, like, CNN's just showing that George Floyd happened, and they're saying, see, this stuff happens all the time, in fact. I'm sure it just happened yesterday to, like, your mom. You better check if she's alright. Like, if she's black, you might be in trouble, dude. Like, I don't know, if she's on the road right now, you know, she could get stopped by the police just for being black. Like, that happens all the time. Like, this happened to George Floyd and he fucking died. Like, your mother's neck might be getting kneeled on right now if you're black, dude. Just remember that. Okay, good night, and thanks for watching. It's like, yeah, I guess if you take CNN seriously, which people don't really anymore, probably because of stuff like that, and them just fucking memeing Trump, but trying to take it seriously, it's so gay, right? But, yeah, doing that stuff, I guess after seeing that, it makes sense for black people to get angry over that, because that's really CNN trying to start a culture war, and inevitably it creates identity politics both ways. Like, Secular Talk has probably talked about that too in some regards. I don't think he concedes on that point though, but like, yeah, them doing defund the police, it's gonna sound very radical and it's gonna turn off a bunch of people. But yeah, they're pretty much like mad, and it's supposed to be a rebellion, like a fuck you symbol type thing. So yeah, I get it. It's not like the approach to, like, having a personality show, but it's sort of a movement that arose from fuck you, I'm mad about this. So I get them doing that.
In some instances, maybe the first line of defense shouldn't be somebody showing up with a gun where it raises the stakes and maybe somebody can end up dead. Maybe it should be a mental health professional. Like, that's what people mean when they say defund. And you could straw man it from a right-wing perspective and say, oh, you guys just love criminals. But that's not fair. That's a straw man of the left's position. It's not accurate. You haven't engaged, honestly, with the actual position of the left on that. And so, in the same way, we, like, dismiss somebody on the right for being that smug and straw manning left-wing beliefs. The right is going to do that when people on the left do a similar thing. And so
I love to see people on the left just completely debunk Cenk Uygur. That's amazing.
We have to be better than that. We have to rise above that.
This.
We have to have an honest discourse and dialogue and sort of
this is epic.
Try to get people to where you're at. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But at least then at the end of the day, you can say, hey, man, I engaged honestly 100% of the time. I got into all the details and all the specifics, all the nooks and crannies. I didn't...
That completely debunks Cenk Uygur, by the way. Like, imagine if Cenk Uygur saw that. Like, he might... Dude, that'd be epic. I'd love to see Cenk Uygur respond to that video. That'd be hilarious.
Anytime, you know, not treat the other position seriously. And so I think that's the best approach. So I'm definitely more team Anna on this front. And I think if Cenk adopts you know, Anna's perspective on this and implements it, I actually think he'd be really, really good at converting gigantic swaths of people. I mean, he probably already has converted gigantic swaths of people. I'm certain of it, but I think he could deconvert even more.
And it's clear this guy really likes Cenk. I mean, they share a lot of positions, but like, I don't know, he doesn't really see that. Like, Cenk is sort of, well, a moron, but you sort of see that once you start seeing, like, yeah, he's not very genuine. He's not, what he's saying sort of doesn't make that much sense when you put it into perspective.
I failed all my classes in high school and ended up dropping out.
Who cares?
Yeah, what an asshole. Can't believe how much of an asshole that person is. Plenty of other ways to bully and harass students that wouldn't be tolerated in any school, whether the person's cisgender or not. And what he's doing is especially bad because, again, it's a form of hate speech. Misgendering somebody who's cis is merely just a form of bullying. Misgendering somebody who's trans is a deliberate form of fucking hate speech. Denying fucking trans...
That's not, I guess you could but... Yeah, that's just you being transphobic. That's not hate speech. That's just you being, I guess, sort of a prick, or just you, well, definitely hate speech is an opinion, I guess, but, yeah, that it just be them, so you could tease people that way. Like, I know, like, I feel really bad for this person, but like, I don't know, I have, like, in high school, there was some, like, this sort of group of friends were just really conservative and just really, like, meme type people. Like, they would just meme around and troll. Like, and like, the head of that group sort of, like, they didn't believe in God. Like, none of them believed in God, but they were super conservative on every other front. And, like, one of them actually was trans, and, like, they stayed friends with, her now, but, yeah, they always were teasing her about that. They would just call her him all the time. They didn't hate her, they just were like, oh yeah, this is our friend, and he's sort of having this, like, dum-dum, like, he's just, like, in this libtard phase, bro, like, this is fucking hilarious, this guy's such a meme, bro. That was sort of how they thought of it, like, they definitely don't hate, like, that's not hating someone, that's just thinking, oh, well, they're just sort of in some delusion. So I don't think it's hate speech.
When he tried to return to school in January after...
Yeah, I mean, it just, yeah, and if you call, again, if you call a guy, like, they aren't trans, but you straight up dismiss, you're like, no, seriously, you're really not a guy, you're a pussy, you're a girl, okay, is that, like, if you're calling someone beta and you're saying they are a girl, and you mean it, like, dude, you don't have a dick, I really don't believe you have one, okay, I'm seeing there's no bulge, dude, it's like, is that hate speech? I mean, you're really not affirming the identity as a man. You're saying they aren't. I mean, you're sort of like, I don't buy into that hate speech thing. I definitely agree with the trans thing in general.
He was hit with an exclusion order and suspended again. According to a Canadian legal firm, the country's Education Act states that a principal has a duty to exclude a student when their presence, in the principal's judgment, becomes detrimental to the physical or mental well-being of the students in the school. It's a decision that can be appealed with the school board. But when Josh and his family tried to appeal it, the board refused to hear the case.
Yeah, no shit, because it was clear cut. They refuse. This is like fucking telling black kids, like, shouting the N-word at them. Why the hell would they have to hear the case? It's clear cut. There isn't anything to debate about this. This kid's a fucking asshole. He's a fucking bigot. He's using hate speech to fucking target trans kids at that school for no fucking reason. And then you're surprised he got fucking suspended. This woman is a fucking moron. Jesus Christ, and an absolute liar.
Okay,
Literally,
well,
yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, I need to see if that was just some guy, like, just trying to fuck with people, that.
What a moron.
Yeah, okay, maybe. I just love how this guy is straightforward, okay? He is genuine. He is like Cenk Uygur, but he is not a moron, and he is genuine, and he doesn't give a fuck about what you think. He's like, oh, well, I'm not gonna convert you, who cares? You're a moron. Like, he's gonna be very upfront. Like, someone who's not like Cenk Uygur, going at that front, oh, I love that.
Let's see, I think this was the first one we were gonna twerk to. Oh, yeah, what an asshole. Can't believe how much of an asshole that person is.
Dude, I need to watch Vegan Games' live streams more. Dude, this guy... Tell me vegans can't get enough protein. Tell this guy that. Jesus Christ, sit-ups.
People can ID as unicorns. I don't know why anybody cares. I don't know what you mean by that statement, but if you're saying that in a trans-positive way, it's like, yeah, I don't know why any of these people make a big deal out of it. There's no reason to target these people. If you meant that statement in an anti-trans way, no, people can't identify as unicorns. Unicorns don't exist, for one thing. And it is not a recognized sort of mental condition to be trans species. So, yeah, but anyway. Let's see.
Dude, I love this guy. Like, imagine if Cenk Uygur was that smart. Or imagine if this guy had Cenk Uygur's following. Like, the world would actually be a fucking better place, bro. I mean, who knows? Oh, God. Okay, here we go. Let's just hear a bit more about this.
Fucking a trespassing arrest. The fuck?
Do you think there should be more studies on how to prevent trans and gays from existing? I am talking about research into what causes these abnormal orientations.
What? Nothing causes them. Like, there is nothing that... No, it's not like your parents just eating bad food or, I don't know, drinking while they're pregnant that causes you being gay. That's just like gender dysphoria. Like, that's an abnormality that just happens. Like, there's nothing that causes it. Or we'd have research on that. We'd know about that.
At least for, like, what's it called? Just, like, educational interest, it should be studied. I think it's important to know why these things occur. Whether or not anything should be done to prevent it, I'm not so sure. It's kind of a weird thing, right? Like,
yeah, I'd agree with them.
There's actually a debate in the dwarf community, people who suffer from dwarfism, whether or not there should be some kind of some sort of medication or something, or that like completely prevents dwarfism. Apparently,
dude, I fucking hate the fact that like, dude, I'm never gonna be 6 feet now. Probably, I'm like 5'10" or some shit. It's like, dude, I took Adderall back when I really didn't need it back then, but like, since I was all ADHD and I was just fucking all over the place being a fucking moron and shit when I was like 6, 7, 8. Like, dude, for like 2 years, I was just put on Adderall and I didn't fucking grow, like, for those 2 years. And I was, bro, I could be like 6 foot, do I even want to be like 6'2", some shit?
There is genetic research going on to prevent conditions like dwarfism.
Like, dude, maybe I'd be like less likely to keep being an incel.
There's a debate in the community on whether or not something like that should be used.
I take an L.
And it's been debated for a long time whether or not people should abort children who have dwarfism. So, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like, should we eliminate a type of people from our population? Like, that's what we would be doing. It's...
I mean, that's all like, Down syndrome. It's like, yeah, they're gonna have way less of a good quality of life than regular people. So if we're going to, like, do we want our kids to be able to live the American dream? Or if they aren't going to get to, maybe, well, we don't have to give birth to that. Like, it hasn't been given yet. We're not taking a life away. That life hasn't been formed yet. Like, just the potential of it, and while 10 years before you were conceded, you had the potential to be conceded, and in fact, you were. You're here.
It's very complicated. You are delving into eugenics when you talk about stuff like that. So, do trans people, like it really comes down to, should trans people exist? Why shouldn't trans people exist? It's kind of...
I mean, I guess because these surgeries, especially in America where we don't have free healthcare, will make them go financially bankrupt. They'll have to, like, grow up not being in the right body. I don't think we're anywhere near allowing trans kids to transition. So they'd have to sort of live in the wrong body, like, throughout their childhood, right? And then they'd have to spend so much money on a surgery to... And then maybe not get to participate in certain sports because it would genuinely not be fair. Like, I completely agree with the conservative standpoint on that, but...
Kind of like saying, well, we could genetically engineer everybody to be white. Like, we...
But the thing is, being white does not help you. Like, being gay, most people are not gay. So, like, you being gay sort of puts you, what's it called? Like, most people you might fall in love with, no matter how attractive you are, they're just not likely to love you back. So it's just gonna be way harder for you to find people who you love who will love you back. It's just a lot harder for you to like find some relationship, for example. And there's also discrimination, which
we could. Is it a good thing, like, to prevent anybody from being born with pigments in their skin?
And either way, it doesn't really matter. Like, you're not taking a life away that life wasn't born yet, and if you're making them better, like if you're improving them in traits that would maximize their well-being, by all means, like that's the best thing. Like, everybody's in favor of, well, let's improve the lives of people who will live in the United States and in the future as well. Absolutely. Absolutely we should, and that is a way to do it. We're not killing anybody who, like, doesn't have some trait. We're not killing all gay people. We're not saying, oh, well, we're not gonna accept you. No, we're just gonna say, well, you probably have it harder than, like, it's probably a big fucking, like, shitty thing to have to live with that. Well, we're gonna make sure that people don't have to deal with that problem. Like, we're not killing anyone who's like, if we could fix that, I don't know, if there was some cause, like, I don't know, like, people do this thing, like, smoke cigarettes, if smoking cigarettes cause people to become gay, or like eating some bad food, or like some maybe unhealthy habit or whatever the fuck was causing this malfunction in, I don't know, drinking during pregnancy. Like, of course, those would be things you should look out for, but there was absolutely no evidence that being gay is caused by, like, anything that...
like, I'm sure the argument is being trans does come with mental health difficulties and shit, and a lot of surgeries and hormone
like, it's not even genetic either.
But I mean, there's also a lot of people who are born with malformities.
But yeah, these people also never get to pass their genes on by, like, having kids with someone. And to a lot of people, that's important. Like, fucking the person who they love and getting to have the new kid who's gonna share, like, the traits of them and their loved one. And it's like, gay people won't get to have that, so...
Where they also might need hormone treatment and surgeries to correct their issues. Like, there's, cleft lip, club feet. There's a lot of things that require some sort of surgery or intervention. So I would lean towards no. I don't think there should be anything used to prevent being gay or trans. Because I don't see any kind of morally consistent way to...
Yeah, I think if it's definitely going to impact your life in a significantly bad way, yeah, it's like, would we want to, like, let's flip that around. Instead of trying to remove that, let's talk about, do we want to add some, like, I don't know, a genetic condition that shortens your life expectancy by 50%. Do we want to add that into our population? Or do we want to, like, not add that? Well, of course we don't want to add that. That'd suck for those people who would just have half the life expectancy. When they are born, they have to know, well, I'll die, like, I don't know, half of the average person's life. Like, they'll be majorly inconvenienced in that. Like, would we want to add something like that, such a condition? No. Well, imagine a world where, everybody was straight. We probably wouldn't want to... Imagine a world where gender dysphoria didn't exist. This is a much better one. Where, like, imagine somebody who is someone like me. Would I want to have had to be born, for example? And I know that's, like, allowing a new person to be born. I wouldn't have known if if my parents hadn't fucked, that wouldn't have been a sin, or them they wouldn't have wronged me, okay? So, yeah, like, would I want to be gay? No. Would I want to be born, like, in a female body? No. Would I want to have to transition, like, have to meet a whole new person that I've never, like, seen as myself, and, No, that'd feel very uncomfortable. I'd rather not live that experience, not be discriminated against by people who don't like that. I'd rather not have to pay that much to a surgery and have to wait till I'm an adult and just have to live in the wrong body my whole childhood. I'd rather not have to go through that. So just flip that around. Like, imagine that doesn't exist. You want to add that? Well, it already exists, so why not just remove it since it's bad? You wouldn't want to add something like that just... Well, you wouldn't want to have to go through that, right? Let's not add it. Well, let's just
use some sort of
subtract
technology to prevent homosexuality or transgenderism, while also not using that same kind of technology to prevent people from being black or a certain height or being like any particular.
And even that, it's like that'd sort of be stupid. Like, what? But if you're not killing anybody, it's like, who cares? That's sort of like you being a dum-dum. Like, that's the stupidest thing you'd ever do. Yeah, let's just start making the kids white, bro. But it's like, again, who cares? Like, that's not really a violation of any, like... That doesn't really violate anyone's rights. That doesn't hurt anyone. You're not killing an entire group. But, yeah, that is pretty, what the fuck? Like, what on earth is wrong with you? That is sort of deranged, I guess you could say. Yeah, let's just make all the kids black. Let's just make all the kids fucking... Like, yeah, make all the kids smart. That would make sense, but let's make all the kids fucking black, dude. Or all the kids... Yeah, let's make them all Asian. That way they'll be fucking smart and hardworking, bro. Let's do that shit. It's like, motherfucker, what are you even talking about? That's fair, but...
So I'd say no. We shouldn't use the technology to prevent certain types of people from existing. Thanks for that donation, Mohammed. Appreciate it. Evelyn, thanks for becoming a member. Appreciate it.
Transgender student and agreed to exclude himself from his 2 afternoon classes because those classes are attended by 2 transgender students who disapprove of Josh's religious beliefs. Dead name.
Yeah, that's not a religious belief. That is just bigotry. So are we going to protect religious beliefs when they're completely and utterly bigoted? What if a Muslim student went to that school? Should he be able to kill everybody who refuses to join Islam?
Kill everybody. Like, I mean... that's fair, because that's sort of what the religion of Islam says you should do to non-believers. That's fucking hilarious, but that's... I fucking love vegan use. Like, he doesn't give a shit if he offends people. He'll just go, yeah, this is true, bitch. What do you want me to say?
Religious beliefs aren't protected when it violates the rights of others. And when you're dead naming somebody, that is not only a form of bullying and harassment, but it's hate speech. Claiming that trans people do not exist, deliberately targeting them, and using techniques like dead naming to deny their trans identity is a form of fucking hate speech.
Have the right
pre-transition.
Let's see, Chrome on the Dome donate $2. Could you in chat rate these rappers from 1 to 10? Thanks.
Never trust a hoe that she can't keep her lips. Never trust a fake, never trust a fake. They gon' talk behind your back and smile up in your face.
It doesn't seem very substantive, but it sounds good, I guess.
0 out of 10.
Let's go. Yeah, this is AIDS. Yeah, this is sort of like the Pussy Slayer music that you usually hear guys rap, but like, it's sort of nothing. Like, yeah, I get him rating all that 0 out of 10. They're rapping about nothing. Let's look at Ivan B. Like, this is my man.
0 out of 10.
You actually gotta go through all of them. We sort of go. This is the same shit.
0 out of 10.
Already 0.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, you do not sound...
0 out of 10. Yeah, the meme rapper, yeah, by far the best. Thanks, Chrome on the Dome.
Name, and the kid claims that he never did that. And nowhere is it explained why he can't just be moved to 2 separate classes, or why these other students can't be moved to 2 separate...
Why am I banned then? I never talk. Just curious.
You're not telling me why you're banned, so I don't know. Thanks for the donation, dude. Why the fuck should... Okay, well, first of all, this kid is clearly targeting these students. That's not going to prevent the problem. And why is it the solution to force these trans kids to move to a separate class?
Oh, yeah,
why should they have to be, like, moved around?
Yeah.
This is like when that girl
was
threatened by male students with
yeah, I didn't get the context. Yeah, that's absolutely insane, yeah. remove the transfer. Yeah, no, that's pretty authoritarian. That's pretty insane.
And the faculty's decision was to move her to a different class. Like, obviously, that doesn't solve the problem. The problem here is this kid's behavior and how he's bullying and harassing students with hate speech. So moving anybody to a different class, that's not going to solve anything. Dodo Donatellers, do you think it's weird for a guy to go to nightclubs by himself to try to pick up girls? No. Thanks for that donation, Dodo.
Separate classes, if they're the ones that are uncomfortable and wanting instead, he needs to drop out of these 2 classes.
He doesn't need to drop out. All he needs to do is agree not to fucking harass these students, and he refused. So, in any other situation, in any other fucking school, if you were harassing people in a similar fucking way, like, if somebody was going around telling cis kids, like, and misgendering them, that would also be considered bullying and harassment. There are plenty of other ways to bully and harass students that wouldn't be tolerated in any school, whether the person's cisgender or not. And what he is doing is especially bad because, again, it's a form of hate speech. Misgendering somebody who's cis is merely just a form of bullying. Misgendering somebody who's trans is a deliberate form of fucking hate speech, denying fucking trans identities outright.
When he tried to return to school in January after the
my
first suspension, he was hit with an
reservations on
exclusion
that,
order and suspended again. According to a Canadian legal firm, the country's Education Act states that a principal has a duty to exclude a student when their presence in the principal's judgment...
I guess more or less. Yeah, it is... I mean, hate speech... I don't know, like, you don't necessarily hate these people, but, I definitely get where he's coming from.
Detrimental to the physical or mental well-being of the students in the school. It's a decision that can be appealed with the school board. But when Josh and his family tried to appeal it, the board refused to hear the case.
Yeah, no shit, because it was clear cut. They refuse. This is like fucking telling black kids, like, shouting the N-word at them. Why the hell would they have to hear the case? It's clear cut. There isn't anything to debate about this. This kid's a fucking asshole. He's a fucking bigot. He's using hate speech to fucking target trans kids at that school for no fucking reason. And then you're surprised he got fucking suspended. This woman is a fucking moron. Jesus Christ. And an absolute liar. Liberty. Fuck you. You don't give a shit about liberty. What a moron. Okay, let's do some twerking.
I fucking love this. What?
This was the first one we were gonna twerk to.
Dude, how could you not want to watch this guy? This guy is amazing. This is my man's. This right here is my fucking man's. Dude, but I should go to bed because I have school tomorrow. So, yeah, glad I just realized that and I didn't realize it an hour later. So, you know what? I have had, consistently 0 views throughout this whole stream, and I'm very proud of that, okay? So, yeah, I'm gonna see y'all next time. Peace. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I could just... my pick. Dude, I'm too lazy. Alright, well, fucking peace out, dude. Hell yeah.